money, money making money, money making money, money making money, money, money making money, manifest, making money, money making money, money making money, money making money. I ain't stressed, making money, money making money, money making money, money making money. Gratitude is my attitude. I'm making money moves. Jewelry in the safe, piggy bank on full. And I'm living life abundant. I'm making money fast. I'm a money making magnet, making cold hard cash. I'm making money. Oh, I am blessed.
Welcome. This is Alchemizing Energy, and I'm your host, DJ Genesis. So we are going to get into Charlie Kirk, and I really want to get into this whole. See, there's an entire world that nobody is probably aware of, and that is the glorification of snipers. Not sure if you guys are aware, but there's a whole algorithm that you can get into that is really promoting snipers. There's a sniper called the Reaper, and he discusses his whole tour in Iraq and this, that, the other, and he details like his different stories. And here is the thing, is that the fact that we have his name is Nick Irving. His name is Nick Irving the Reaper, and he's been on so many different shows discussing what happened and this, that, the other, and I mean, matter of factly, and it's interesting that when it really goes down, he actually was the one who broke down the whole Donald Trump assassination thing, where they tried to assassinate them. But there are, so here's this guy, the Reaper. So he has been on various different shows. Okay, this guy, the Reaper. Let's bring this up, right? Various shows where it's like he's infamous for being a sniper. And it was interesting. I was like, man, this is crazy. Like what he's talking about, they have a movie about this, American Sniper, people are talking about this in all these things, and about 103 kills, the deadliest Marine you ever heard of. These are really, I'm sorry guys, these are serial killers, by the way. Snipers, if you are a military sniper, you are pretty much a serial killer. And when you leave the military as a sniper, you then begin to work government contracts and snipe for them and do work for them. It doesn't end once you join the military, because what else can you do if you all you've done is been a sniper your entire career? So it's interesting that there's a whole situation going on where, shouts and may he rest in peace, Chris Irving. And so you have a sniper, an actual sniper, who is going to review the situation that happened with Chris Irving. So let's go into it.
To be very clear that this is
Charlie Kirk. I'm sorry, I'm getting Irving mixed up with Kirk. So let's go over the thing with Kirk and what they're saying happened. And a sniper is going to break down the whole situation based on the angles. Okay, let's go.
Assassination. We are celebrating 250 years of the founding of this great nation. That founding document, the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, probably goes on to talk about the importance of free speech. I was a fan of Charlie Kirk, not because I agreed with everything he said, but because I'm a fan of anybody who has the bravery and courage to get up and say something that is uncomfortable, that's hard to hear, that everyone won't agree with, that some people will want to kill you over. And it finally caught up to him. So first thing is I respect him. I don't agree with everything he said, but I respect him. And this is an important moment, and I think this is a turning point in our generation's story. Really,
It is a turning point. I think that at the same time, it's a learning lesson about, like, listen, you're saying these things and you don't know who's watching. You don't know what groups are watching and whether people are going to think that you are going to be detrimental to their movement, and whether or not, even if it might be I'm not sure if it's a Caucasian person or a light-skinned person. They showed the picture of the actual shooter. Now, I was confused. There was a picture on Instagram where they showed where, like, there was a older white man standing next to him, and looked like he crossed his arms and shot underneath his thing and backed up. So I was kind of worried about, like, what the heck is this? Like, is this like a conspiracy? But no. So they said that this is a long range shot. They found the rifle. Okay. But sometimes it could be like the people could do misdirection, especially when you have like these like groups and stuff, like these people that are like high up and doing stuff. You don't know. It could be a lot of different things, and then this person could be the scapegoat. So I just want to make sure that people understand psychological operations when they're like seeing one. Remember that whole thing I showed you with Chase Hughes, where he talked about a psychological operation, a psyop. So let's go.
So for me, I've just watched this play out over the past few hours, trying to piece together what's happening. Like, I'm most interested in, is this a lucky shot or is this planned, intentional? That's kind of just what I'm interested in. As a prior Marine Corps Scout Sniper, Force Recon Marine, I'm interested in people who, it's painful to say, but I'm interested in the craft of killing, death. I'm interested.
This is the thing. So here's the thing people don't realize. Okay. I just wanted to bring this up. I wanted to like just make this known, right? There are a lot of people that come out the military, right, that were actually in combat. Okay. This guy's an ex-Marine, right? There's a whole rabbit hole you can go down of people interviewing these people from the Green Berets and the snipers, and these people are stone-blooded killers, okay? And here's the thing is that YouTube and all these different like channels, like different social media places will play these podcasts where they are talking about ending people's lives. The Reaper alone killed 33 different people. Okay. Now they might have been like assets or a reason why he did this or whatever, but the Reaper, Irving alone had 33 kills. The way that they talk about kills is it sounds like they're talking about I had 33 slam dunks or I got 33 championships. The way that they talk about this whole thing. So you hear here, he's an ex-Marine and he's kind of like obsessed or like not obsessed, but like he is attracted to like things about this type of thing, right? So that's kind of strange, but that's okay because he was in the Marines. I mean, it would be okay. It would make sense, right? That's all he did. If he was in combat, this is what. So you got to understand that there's people out here that's gone into combat and they have to come into society after being in combat or being trained a certain way, and then they have to assimilate. But then you go on YouTube and you're watching this and you're watching that. People have groups and different like organizations. They join these organizations. You never know how they can be manipulated. Okay? How they can be manipulated. You never know exactly where they might be coming from and things like this. So this guy is a Marine sniper and he is going to break down the situation. And this is with all due respect to the family of Charlie Kirk, and all due respect to Irving. I'm not trying to Nicholas Irving. I'm not trying to make any insinuations because I'm not trying to have no scope on my head. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just trying to bring up the whole situation that when it really comes down to it, like there's a certain level of glorification of like this whole sniping thing. I'm not sure if you guys are aware that there is a whole algorithm where you could just watch and listen to interviews of snipers. I've watched it myself. It was very interesting. Honey, I went on down a whole rabbit hole. I watched like about 5 different videos. So I said, oh, what am I doing? You know, of the same one sniper. And then it led into other snipers, like actually discussing like the Green Berets and this. And these people are killers. By the way, they are killers. They make no mistake. They just have been able to, you know, be able to be in society. And because it was a war situation or into like they are contract to do these things, then it's not looked at the same. But let me tell you this, that person was probably contracted to do that. That's the part that's scary. When you have contracted that somebody probably got some money from that Iran or whatever, and then did their job and just escaped off. You know what I'm saying? Probably had a disguise on. Never know exactly who this person is. This was a professional hit, because you don't hit that far from that far with a one shot. So let's go into it.
In how people pull it off. I'm interested in modern day assassinations, and on one hand, I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, I imagine Charlie Kirk's beautiful kids watching this, seeing their dad, and it just breaks my heart. On the other hand, this is what I do. So I just piece together all the videos I could find in real time as I kind of watched it unfold, and for myself, I'm trying to understand what the truth is. And so this is kind of how things unfolded in the past few hours. So the first videos I came across on Twitter was, of course, Charlie arriving, and this venue is huge. But already, I saw, obviously the first video I saw was him getting shot.
We're not counting gang violence. Great. Great. I'm saying we're not counting gang violence. Great.
My first thought is it's a single shot. It's well placed, not perfect, but well placed enough to be like, okay, that's not luck. We have to take a position. Is it luck or is it not luck? And one single well placed rifle shot in a venue like this, where a rifle is hard to get through, navigate, and to conceal, and for it to be well placed, it was effective. It did hit him. It did kill him ultimately, and they're still looking for the suspect. So that all tells me is it's not luck. And of course, the first suspect that they thought it was this goofball.
How dare you! How dare you!
But when I saw that, I was just like, there's no way, if we take the position that this is luck or it's not luck, then there's no way this guy did it. He's a goofball. He's overweight. He's old. He was in the middle of the crowd. Where's the rifle? They're even saying, like, the police are saying, we don't know it's him. Like, you're damn right you don't know it's him. Where's the long rifle? You know, that would be impossible to conceal. And, you know, some people just will do anything for attention. And I think that's one thing that I just came to realize really quickly is, okay, this guy, apparently this is him, transgender. And, you know, this is a lot of allegation, or like, I don't know the facts of everything. This is just what was presented on Twitter in real time. So could be wrong. But ultimately, the point is, I don't think that this guy, at the time, I was like, this guy's not the main suspect if this was in fact.
So they thought that person was the one that did it. Are you serious? This guy that has to be a joke right there. Come on now. They thought he did it. That's not. Come on now. This person that he did it. They think that this guy did it. And he makes a good sense. This goofball, no goofball like this is going to make a single shot to the head over with, single shot, boom. No, that's not. Yeah, exactly. No one is, unless he makes good sense there. Shouts out
for attention. And I think that's one thing that I just came to realize really quickly is, okay, this guy, apparently this is him, transgender, and you know, this is a lot of allegation, or like, I don't know the facts of everything. This is just what was presented on Twitter in real time, so could be wrong. But ultimately, the point is, I don't think that this guy, at the time, I was like, this guy is not the main suspect if this was in fact not a lucky shot. If this was intentional.
Gang violence. Great.
And then secondly, that's a rifle shot overhead.
Great.
But the thing is that's interesting is that it's an open shot. It's not suppressed, and it sounds like it was shot in the open, like open space. It echoes the way it reverberates throughout this auditorium. It kind of, and I have a map right here. The auditorium kind of sinks down, and if it was a professional sniper, they would be inside a building, shooting from inside cover, and that would absorb a lot of that kind of reverberation. It would sound a little different. This shot sounds like it was shot like in an open field with unsuppressed rifle, about a 5.56 caliber, and so then there's this mixture of professionalism and unprofessionalism, which is the most interesting part about this. So the shooter is confident enough to get the shot. It wasn't, we'll see later, it wasn't perfectly placed. It was well placed, but not perfectly placed. It got the job done. But if it was, this is 200 yards. A 200-yard shot with a long rifle, you should be able to place that on a penny, exactly where you want it. And it was low. So let's go back to the video and keep watching.
He did it. I think.
This videos of them carrying away the first suspect. And then we have the videos of them taking Charlie to the hospital. And then we'll come back to this because this is the venue shots. And so this is the old suspect. They take him away. You hear the police saying, "We don't know if it's him. We don't know if it's him." Let's hear that.
We don't know if it's him or not.
We don't know if it's him or not. You can hear the police.
Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. How you doing, Reverend Green?
Not bad. Not bad. Yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. What are your thoughts?
Chaos. Oh, that was just you want me to continue?
Yeah, I mean, your just thoughts are your thoughts chaotic, or was this situation?
No, I think chaos for just your average American serf, your average common American. They're getting a lot of smoke blown up their ass from the media.
So do you think this is so what I mean, but what do you think about the situation? I mean, what is your overall thoughts about, the fact that he's considered it was an assassination, and that, what do you think of the word assassination, and what do you think the whole situation is?
Great question. Well, first and foremost, I'd like to give out a disclaimer. I'm not working with the authorities, nor an investigator. I would believe that our country has the best investigative team, and they will be investigating, and they will find this suspect within 5 days, just like Luigi. Took them 5 days to apprehend Luigi. They gave out to the media, they provided a sample picture that didn't actually look like Luigi in the very beginning. If you remember, this was earlier this year, but Luigi left trails and there were words, just like the suspected assassin of Charlie Kirk left words, trails, clues. Luigi left 3 words: deny, delay, defend, something of that nature. And I guess this assassin left something on his shell casings. And they're not exclusively saying exactly what it was, but they're saying it's some type of ideology. So the picture
did they have the same thing on his shell case the same way, or was it something different?
Huh?
Did Luigi do something the same thing, like on his shell cases, or did he do something different?
You got to go back to it. You don't remember earlier this year, Luigi?
I remember earlier this year, but I don't remember, did he leave something on his shell casings, and that's how they found him?
He left something behind. American commoners, this is what I mean. This is what gets us going. This is what keeps us at the edge of our seats. The media be blowing smoke up our ass.
Honestly, I don't really watch.
I got you. But a lot of Americans. You're not alone, sis, queen, whatever you are. You're not alone. You don't have to defend this one. We hear so much information at one time, and then we're distracted by the next one. But Luigi left 3 words: delay, deny, defend. All right, and it took them 5 days for them to capture him, and he was at a local fast food restaurant. I believe it was a McDonald's.
Okay.
I would think something similar in the time duration of when they capture this person. It's going to be similar. Once they gave the reward out, that's when the Luigi eventually was captured. He was captured in New Jersey.
But how can you catch someone off of just 3 words? Like, that's interesting.
See, this is what I mean. If you're following the story, the assassin left words on these shell casings. What were they? They keep on saying it was some trans ideology or something. However, going back earlier this year, when Luigi clapped the CEO of United Health, he too left words. Also, Luigi, he tracked the CEO down. He was following the CEO. He was able to find out when the CEO was going to arrive somewhere at the hotel. That's how he caught up to him earlier that morning on the street. Come on now. It sounds familiar. So when it comes down to this thing, I suspect, again, I'm not an authority. I'm not working with investigators. I suspect it's similar, that this suspected assassin was tracking Charlie Kirk. But the one thing I would say that's different is this: the crowd. The crowd appeared to be anxious and a little gleeful. Every college kid that I've seen just about being interviewed looked like they were fighting back, giggling and smiling just a tad bit. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
All right. They it was like it was almost like the Mona Lisa. Like, is she grinning? Is she smirking? And it seemed like every person that was just about interviewed on that campus was holding back from bursting out in laughter.
I didn't see that. You know what? I didn't see that part. Hold on. I need to look at that. Can you share me some videos of this?
I didn't. Again, I'm not working with the investigation, but just if you look at some of they're not hard to find. You don't have to type up giggling people holding back laughter. But if you look at some of the campus people who are being interviewed, they appear to be fighting back, smiling while they're interviewing. They're full of excitement. They're answering. They're not laughing, but you see these micro expressions in their behavior. And again, just remember this one thing about earlier this year, if you can recall. I know it's difficult, even me too, but this is so much, but I just find the behavior correlated, that the celebration of Luigi was instantaneous. This was their new creepy saint. They sanctified Luigi. He had cryptocurrencies named after him. He had a cult following. The media Soon too was salivating like, oh, who is this handsome Chad, and all types of speculation. And so I believe the FBI, our professionals, are being very careful, because right now Charlie Kirk is becoming a martyr for the right. However, in this type of climate, a villain becoming a hero, an assassin becoming celebrated, we see this time and time again. Whether if it's Charles Manson or whoever else, the media tends to build this person into some type of quasi-celebrity.
Exactly. Yep.
And I think they want to be careful for what? Copycats.
100%. Yeah, exactly. So let's look about what this sniper said about the situation. I did pull up a video. Didn't look like he was smiling at all, but maybe I just don't have the right one. So I'm just going to go with the one I was going to go with, because I really want to talk about the glorification of snipers. You know, that is really what I want to focus on this show.
Sure.
I want to talk about how snipers are glorified. You know, so this guy is ex-Marine, ex-sniper. So that means he probably got some bodies, you know? And so when he talks about stuff, he's talking from an expert level about how it sounds, how the gunshot sounds. No, he's not the one. And this is the interesting thing. It's like people don't even understand how much the sniping is almost like it's a specialty. It's almost like you are a specialist. You understand the sound of a gun. You understand the sound of a rifle. You know what a machine gun sounds like. You know how it sounds in a building. You know how it sounds outside of a building. You could. So this becomes almost like ingrained. You know, they study how bullets sound when they're leaving a gun.
Right.
How it sounds when they're leaving a rifle. Yes, it's very much a subculture, and like I was showing earlier, is that, you know, there is a whole. I went down the rabbit hole myself, and I was kind of intrigued with it, you know. But I'm not no sniper. I don't own a gun, but I'm just saying.
A lot of females are not. I mean, share the same sentiment. But if it's serial killers, they're reading about thug life, they're reading about,
it's more like,
or just snipers.
It's more like I was in the military, and it intrigued me because I was like 1 point off for being a sniper. When I was
it's healthy. It's healthy. It's a healthy intrigue.
I was 1 point off for being a sniper. You know what I'm saying? But when I was in basic training, however, like so when I saw that this person had movies after him telling his life story, and then he's all over the internet. It's like, well, bro, so don't you think that people are watching this, and that there might be groups getting around each other and like watching this stuff and watching this information and like really like embracing this type of stuff, living vicariously in their minds through this person, because it's been glorified, you know? The way that snipers talk about sniping, it's almost like they're talking about eating lunch, you know, tomorrow.
Yeah,
you know?
but these are the ones that are on the internet and celebrating. I just, before you begin, Mrs. Genesis, I want to give a disclaimer again. There are Marines or ex-snipers, as in this title, that break down stuff online. But there's a lot more offline who are not going to give any details. I want to point this out again. Active military, not all active military people wear uniforms ever. Are you aware of that?
Oh yeah, there's like OSI and different like types of military.
Just like undercover policing.
Yeah.
Not all police.
I worked for the Office of Special Investigations. They had different military that, yeah, of course, yeah.
So this subculture of snipers I would like to imply not all snipers were in the military like that. And they're not getting online.
Good point.
You ever watch The Professional with Leon with Natalie Portman?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to say this again. That's a movie, but one thing is that this intimacy that you're speaking about, the sniper subculture, there's an intimacy to it, passing down, almost like the hunter when they teach the younger about, hey, this is why we doing this, Dad. And they explain the doctrine.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to be very clear. A lot of these snipers, they're never getting online posting videos. They take this intimate.
But I'm trying to tell you is that this guy Nicholas is one of the most renowned snipers. And then from what I hear, because snipers, they follow each other, right? So there's certain snipers that are in Russia that'll be like, okay, because I watched this whole thing where I watched the whole situation where this guy knew of a female sniper that was really well known, that was like one of the most well known snipers out there, and she had like 100 and some odd kills and stuff like that. They follow each other's kill rate. It's almost like they have someone keeping track of all the people they've killed and everything. It's like a football game. It's almost like a game. Like, okay, how many people? How many things out in the field? So, and listen, he's on Google, he has 33 kills. So how like that's if a person was a like Jeffrey Dahmer had 33 kills. You're like, that would be crazy. But
I'm glad you brought that
this
up.
person is not in prison, nothing like that. He's actually still working as a sniper. He still works for corporations. He goes out for Raytheon and this, that, the other, and does sniping. People hire them. They are working people. Like just like you have a person that gets hired on a contract to do a website, you can hire a sniper.
And there's a lot
This
more.
is the type of stuff I'm trying to talk. That is what I'm trying to bring to the table, is that people need to understand that there is such of a career as a sniper. There's a career. There is a whole and they can go, and I don't know where if there's a sniper website they can go to get jobs at I don't know how they get their jobs or whatever, but somehow they get hired through the government, Raytheon, parole, all these different government contracts they can get and people say, oh, well, they might be doing some level of just protection of the place and just waiting to see but there are just so sniping is just not only for the military. I'm just letting y'all know. Like, you don't just snipe when you're in the Marines, snipe when you're in Air Force, Marine, whatever. It's once they leave the military, they continue to be a sniper. That's the thing I'm trying to let people understand and know about, is that they don't stop being a sniper when they leave the military.
And that's exactly what I was saying as well. Earlier, I was just saying there's a lot more offline, and it's a subculture, and the census on real snipers offline compared to the ones who are doing videos, I'm telling you, there's a lot more offline.
Right, but do they?
Ambiguous.
Don't you notice that those people that are online probably have a certain level of body count of people that they've sniped to make themselves infamous?
Ambiguous. They're not stealthy. They're not trying to leave a carbon footprint. Just they're living their lives. They're eating Frosted Flakes in the morning. Trying to elaborate that there's a lot more of the culture of snipers offline.
Well, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the main thing I was trying to bring to the forefront is that, all right, so what you see online is just a microcosm based on what Reverend Green is saying of what's really going on. There probably are, like, on the dark web, entire groups of snipers.
Bingo message.
And that is scary.
Right.
Wow. So we're gonna like go into this whole thing where this sniper, this ex-sniper, I mean, he ain't. I need to like look at his page and see what his body count is. But it's very interesting that the people, they'll be snipers and probably do got a body count. They was in the military sniping. You know what I'm saying? And then it's crazy to think that, you know. But I don't know. Would I prefer to be around a sniper versus a regular person that might? I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Why do you call this person a professional? Just because they? I'm talking about the assassin. Is it because the media is throwing it around?
Well, I know. I would say is that well, I'm going to allow him to discuss that this is a one shot. This was not
this guy.
person. The person that did this to Mr. Kirk,
Right.
It was not like a person that's just a hobbyist. That's what he's saying. He's breaking. So we're trying to show that I'm trying to bring awareness that there is a whole undercurrent of snipers,
Right.
a whole like rabbit hole you can go down into YouTube where it is glorified, you know, special operations, people that go in and if it's not sniping, go in and just slit the throat of a person and you just or give them something, kill them or whatever, and you never hear of them. There is a whole undercurrent that people are not aware of people that are like ex-military or on some kind of like combat level, how they operate that are paid assassins, and it's not just in the movies.
Right.
So I broke down that Mr. Nick Irving, who was known as the Reaper, had 33 people while he was in the military. You don't know how many people after that. You know what I'm saying? Because
those are the ones that he discusses, the 33. I understand. But,
exactly. That's what I'm trying to explain to people is that people do not stop being snipers once they leave the military.
And you also see that if you also see that also
be a sniper. What you gonna do? Work at McDonald's after that?
Right. His children too are also have his skills. His wife has firearm skills too.
Yeah.
He always is confident in sharing that as well. This stuff is passed down.
Yeah. So let me start this over. Let's like go into this, and he's gonna break it down.
Watch this play out over the past few hours, trying to piece together what's happening. Like, I'm most interested in, is this a lucky shot or is this planned, intentional? That's kind of just what I'm interested in. As a prior Marine Corps Scout Sniper, Force Recon Marine, I'm interested in people who.
So he is a Marine Corps sniper and a Force Recon Marine. So he does reconnaissance, which means like getting information or getting people and you know, if they're like hiding, reconnaissance is to like figure out what's going on, or maybe even getting people. You know, I'm kidnapping them, putting in whatever they got to do. So that's what those missions are.
And
so
before you begin this,
yeah, go ahead.
Those who have children or offspring or teenagers, this right now is the best time to convey to your children to join one of the best companies in the world, and that is the U.S. military. Uncle Sam is the greatest military recruiter in the world. I just want to point that out. There are careers. You don't have to always have to start off and go to college and stuff like that. Uncle Sam has a success rate of building careers for young Americans. And now we're going to start seeing a lot more advertisements on bringing a stronger, more competent, more youthful Marine military into the forefront for America, so we can defend America and protect America and keep America competitive.
America's already competitive. It's already competitive. America has one of the biggest and most strongest military forces in the world.
So. I want to always highlight that too, my position on that. That's why I want to shout that out.
I'm ex-military, so you're talking to an Air Force veteran here.
Hey. I'm not concerned about all that. I'm pumping up what I just pumped up. You can pump up the U.S. military. We're promoting that right now and protecting the United States of America. You find this is a good career, the U.S. military? Are you open to say that right now?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So
I wish I would get the opportunity to stay in the military. Unfortunately, I was not able to. But if I would have been able to stay in, I would have stayed in and retired from it. Yes, I would have.
Great. Now, would you say for the young people who might be listening? I tried to
get my daughter to join the military, but unfortunately, she's not she wouldn't probably have been able to get into it because she's she has autism. But yes, I definitely encourage when you have children to put them in the military for discipline, for the benefits that occur with the military, for a lot of different reasons, to be able to travel around the world and see different places. I do encourage that. The only bad part is if it is a wartime situation, it could be very, detrimental and traumatic. However, I would say that out of all of the corporations that America has in it, I believe that the military is the most stable, that you get the best benefit from, whether you leave, when you get out, you have benefits. Versus if I worked at McDonald's my whole life and I retire from there, I don't get the same benefits that I would get for working for the military. I could leave the military, work for the CIA, the Pentagon, the FBI. I could work for the DIA. There's different so there is definitely benefit for that. There's there's college training. If you have any issues, you can go get disability. It's a lot of things. I got 2 of my houses by being a veteran. So I don't I would never when I was younger, because I didn't understand. Hey, what's up, Texas, Bama? I didn't understand what I was in, so I took it for granted. But now that I'm older, I see what I was a part of, so yeah.
Did you get to be stationed out somewhere almost paradise or?
No, I was. I had a very high GPA. I was actually taken out of my tech school and put into a special duty assignment to work for the OSI of the Air Force, was the special investigations. So that was a special duty assignment, and the only way I would have traveled, which I was going to go to Iraq from OSI, but once you get pulled from that, it's almost like being recruited for the FBI. If you go to school, you go to a regular tech school, you might get a regular job in the military, but if you get brought in or if you get taken out of that, because I was top of my class in my thing, so they took me out and put me into OSI as a special duty assignment. So I didn't get to travel.
All right.
But I would have eventually, but it would have been very doing some high end this, that, the other. But it was. But this is not what this is about. Bottom line is that I want to really discuss this situation so this guy is a Marine. He is an ex-sniper, and he's breaking it down from a Marine ex-sniper standpoint. And he's going to break down how things sound, because snipers, like I said, snipers have a specific skill set. Okay? They know how like I said, a gun sounds, a rifle sounds, if it's out in the open, if it's being shot from a building, if it's being shot from below, above, etc. So let's go.
I've just watched this play out over the past few hours, trying to piece together what's happening. Like, I'm most interested in, is this a lucky shot or is this planned, intentional? That's kind of just what I'm interested in. As a prior Marine Corps Scout sniper, Force Recon Marine, I'm interested in people who, it's painful to say, but I'm interested in the craft of killing, death. I'm interested in how people pull it off. I'm interested in modern day assassinations. And on one hand, I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, I imagine Charlie Kirk's beautiful kids watching this, seeing their dad, and it just breaks my heart.
So I want you to also hear what he just said. You know, as a sniper, he's interested in death. He's interested in how it gets carried out. He's interested in all those like little nuances of how this gets. So people that are snipers have a specific mindset, because that's the only way they can go out and do what they have to do. They have to be able to know the intricacies of how everything works, how this whole thing could have came together. So, he's trying to choose his words wisely, because he knows that, he doesn't want people to be looking at him like, God damn, bro, you are cold-hearted. But they kind of are. Let's be real. I mean, they look at this as like business as usual, So he's able to look at this thing and just focus on the facts of it all and not really get attached emotionally to it, because he probably has done different missions and this, that, the other, where there's no emotions to it. So snipers don't have emotions towards death and killing and all, and none of this. So let's go.
On the other hand, this is what I do. So I just piece together all the videos I could find in real time as I kind of watched it unfold, and for myself, I'm trying to understand what the truth is. And so this is kind of how things unfolded in the past few hours. So the first videos I came across on Twitter was, of course, Charlie arriving, and this venue is huge. But already, I saw, obviously the first video I saw was him getting shot.
We're not counting gang violence. Great. Great. Counting or not counting gang violence. Great.
My first thought is it's a single shot. It's well placed, not perfect, but well placed enough to be like, okay, that's not luck. We have to take a position. Is it luck or is it not luck? And one single well placed rifle shot in a venue like this, where a rifle is hard to get through, navigate, and to conceal, and for it to be well placed, it was effective. It did hit him. It did kill him ultimately, and they're still looking for the suspect. So that all tells me is it's not luck. And of course, the first suspect that they thought it was this goofball.
How dare you! How dare you!
But when I saw that, I was just like, there's no way, if we take the position that this is luck or it's not luck, then there's no way this guy did it. He's a goofball. He's overweight. He's old. He was in the middle of the crowd. Where's the rifle? They're even saying, like, the police are saying, we don't know it's him. Like, you're damn right you don't know it's him. Where's the long rifle? That would be impossible to conceal. And, some people just will do anything for attention. And I think that's one thing that I just came to realize really quickly is, okay, this guy, apparently this is him, transgender. And, this is a lot of allegation, or like, I don't know the facts of everything. This is just what was presented on Twitter in real time. So I could be wrong. But ultimately, the point is, I don't think that this guy, at the time, I was like, this guy is not the main suspect if this was in fact not a lucky shot. If this was intentional.
Gang violence.
And I really want you guys to hear how he is discussing this. He's discussing this with a surgical precision of a marksman. You understand? He's able to break it down. No, it wouldn't be him. He's overweight. He's this, that, the other. He would not be able to put this in his thing. He's too fat. He wouldn't be able to get away quickly enough. He's not concealing himself. Like, no, it wouldn't be him. So this is the type I want you guys to understand, because there's an entire world of this that people are not aware of, and I'm just bringing it to the forefront that people could be aware that there's a whole sniper community. There's a whole rabbit hole of sniperhood that you could like, and special ops and Green Berets and all the different like things, Navy SEALs, Green Berets. So Green Berets are Army, Navy SEALs, and I think the Marines have one, and different ones for each different forces that actually like talk about what they've been through in like war and how they like operate and what they did and who they killed. And there's actual interviews. You hear people talking about how they killed this person and did this and how they went into this thing, killed 10 people. There was this person. And it's like They talk about it very matter of fact, very surgically, and there is no emotion to it. So you, as you can hear, like you can see that this person, like how he's a sniper. So this is almost like a person looking at a website and saying, "Well, no, you should move this over here, move this over there." Etc. So I want you to understand the mind of this, so you could also be able to understand what's happening here, to know that this is not your typical situation that happened here. Okay, this was not just a person mad and sniping somebody. This is a very surgical situation. Let's go.
Great.
And then secondly, that's a rifle shot overhead.
Great.
But the thing is that's interesting is that it's an open shot. It's not suppressed, and it sounds like it was shot in the open, like open space. It echoes the way it reverberates throughout this auditorium. It kind of, and I have a map right here. The auditorium kind of sinks down, and if it was a professional sniper, they would be inside a building, shooting from inside cover, and that would absorb a lot of that kind of reverberation. It would sound a little different. This shot sounds like it was shot like in an open field with unsuppressed rifle, about a 5.56 caliber, and so then there's this mixture of professionalism and unprofessionalism, which is the most interesting part about this. So the shooter is competent enough to get the shot. Of course, it wasn't, and we'll see later, it wasn't perfectly placed. It was well placed, but not perfectly placed. It got the job done. But if it was, this is 200 yards. A 200-yard shot with a long rifle, you should be able to place that on a penny, exactly where you want it. And it was low. So
You see this? I hear this a lot, even with the whole Trump assassination, quote unquote. People know, these snipers know, like, bro, like, if this was a real precise shot, it wouldn't even matter if you had the head the size of a fucking pin needle, they will be able to hit that. That's how precise snipers are, and so surgical with it. You're right. So he's saying, like, there was some level of professionalism, but some level it's not, because if it was a professional sniper, it wouldn't have mattered nothing. They would have hit it right, probably straight to the skull. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't have been on the side a little bit. No. So this is how surgical it gets with these snipers. And I wanted to bring this to you guys. Now, I've watched this type of stuff like back to back for hours, like a weirdo. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I do this. You know what I'm saying? I do that type of stuff. But it gets that, I'm very interested in stuff like that. So I don't know why.
I would love to say thank you for the show tonight. For everybody, hit the like button and subscribe. Also, as an ordinary brother from the United States and proud of it, I would like to say this. We as fellow Americans, we're not as slow and as people would like to believe. And I believe a lot more of us, know exactly what this fella is talking about. And also, for the youth, there's junior ROTC. There's ROTC as well in high school. I want to promote these things. And so when DJ Genesis says she knows a lot of stuff, she's in the military, I want to also point out that I have a lot of right information, and I humbly use it. I don't joke around with it. I try to be accurate as possible and credible as possible. So this is why I won't be boastful or embellish anything. I'm just an ordinary American.
Yeah, I'm not boasting when I talk about my military experience. Now, I'm a veteran. I just want to be clear that I don't. No, right. So yeah, I'm just saying that.
And the other Americans and whoever are listening on this replay, I think y'all know what I'm talking about. We're not slow. We get exactly what this fella's talking about.
So shouts out Texas Gavin says maybe they did that on purpose as to make it seem unprofessional. Like, did they?
I was about to say a lot more, but we see this stuff. There's people who see these things. We know what's next. But there's a lot of commoners who are, like I said, they're at the edge of their seat. The media is blowing smoke up their ass left and right. And people are chanting about, hey, let's take it outside. It's Civil War II. Like, no, it's not. And cut it out. Y'all don't want that. You're not sliding like that. Stop it. Let the professionals, the authorities of the United States of America, handle this situation. And they will.
Right. So the point that I'm trying to make with this video, though, is to let people understand, not to get up in arms about this, because this is it's not just an angry person.
Right. Exactly.
So I'm trying to like bolster some of like the outrage to let people understand that this is something that's way beyond our understanding.
I'm saying that as well.
And I want him to, he's going to break it down even further. And I want you.
Let's go back to the video and keep watching.
He did it. I think.
This video is of them carrying away the first suspect. And then we have the videos of them taking Charlie to the hospital. And then we'll come back to this because this is the venue shots. And so it's the old suspect. They take him away. You hear the police saying, "We don't know if it's him. We don't know if it's him." You hear that?
We don't know if it's him or not.
We don't know if it's him or not. You can hear the police. So they're kind of frustrated, but this guy just clearly wanted attention.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps if this is some elaborate thing, he was paid off to get attention, but that would create too many rabbit trails. As soon as there's money involved and people can follow money in bank accounts and payments, you're smoked. So, but who knows? I'm just thinking in real time.
Oh, the guy.
So then they get into this is the immediate reporting afterwards. And I was starting to listen because I'm trying to understand, okay, what are people on the ground saying about what they heard, what happened?
Do say they did hear just one shot.
Oh, the guy. I don't think he did it. I think they arrested the wrong guy. I think whoever did it was a good shooter.
So you got two clips that I found important. Was one, it was a single shot that no one heard two shots. So one single shot. That's a sign of competency.
A shooter.
When you heard the shot, did it sound like it was close, near to where he was speaking, or did it sound like it was coming from afar, maybe in the back of the crowd, or could you tell?
No, it sounded like it was the back of the crowd, which was pretty wild. I don't know though. It's it's like it must have been closer, but then again, it's like if it was that close, how did nobody else?
It's the telltale sign of a sniper. People are amazed about how accurate it was. Must have been close, but it sounded far.
We are rewinded just
far. You go back to the shot over again.
Not counting gang violence. Great.
You can hear it come overhead.
So could we rewind it to the older fella explaining something? What he observed.
Well, actually, that was an act.
I want to point out what he said and the difference between what this guy said.
Hear just one shot.
He said
The
this
guy.
one thing.
I don't think he did it. I think they the wrong guy. I think whoever did it was a good shooter.
Sharpshooter and a sniper are different. I want to be very clear on that. A sharpshooter and a sniper are different. That guy's a sniper. He says he's an ex-sniper. This guy's a sharp shooter. There's distinctions.
What's the difference between a sharpshooter and a sniper?
Go ahead and Google it if you don't get the dictionary, but it takes people to know. But I like how this older fella just clearly classified what he observed. That's a sharpshooter. Doesn't matter if you're up close or far away, he hits. You don't miss. Snipers do what they do. They pull away and not be and no one knew where they come from. If they decided to leave a trail behind, a little decoy trail, diversion, but you don't know where they're at. That's the big difference. I want to be very clear. That last part right there, a marksman. But a sharpshooter.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, so a sharpshooter provides accurate but opportunistic support fire for a squad at modern ranges, where a sniper is a specialized military professional trained for long range precision, observation, surveillance, and destruction of high value targets, operating separately from the main
Mhm.
focused on an accurate shooting in a support role, while a sniper is a distinct, highly specialized role requiring rigorous training and specific skills and beyond marksmanship. So he was not a sharpshooter, he's a sniper. So bottom line is
Wait.
shooters are people that are able to shoot really good with it. So if we're like a whole troop going in, if I'm a sharpshooter, I can go in with my troop and all my because you know when you're in the military, they only give you a certain amount of rounds to shoot with, right?
Mhm.
So if you so like say I'm going in with the infantry with my group, like I got 5 people, right? So I'm considered a sharpshooter when I have like 11 rounds and I hit all 11 targets, you know? A sniper is a person that's not going to be with nobody, goes out by themselves, solo, and sit and and wait for the right opportunity. It's a specialized role, and then they hit their target, and then they just
So who do you think this person is more of, a sharpshooter or a sniper? And the reason why I brought this up, studying behavior, all right? Not
sniper.
just, okay, so you're sticking with a sniper. All right.
Do
So
you see
you
this?
think your
Are
assassin
you
is
reading this?
no, it's not about the words. It's not. What do you believe? You believe this
Sniper.
person's a sharpshooter or a sniper?
A sniper,
The
bro.
one that's the one that assassinated Charlie Kirk.
Sniper.
Okay.
Long range is the key word. Long range. How many thing they say he shot at? Did they like measured it at like almost like 175?
What did this guy just say? The sniper. What did the ex sniper already just say? He said this. Again, going back to behavior. It could have been with that type of art. Exactly. See, I like what this person is saying right there. Sharpshooters are marksmen. I can't be alone on. Thank you, fellow listeners and Americans out here. But it's it's like this. This ex-military person that's on the video just clearly said about it could have been a 100 yards away. He's supposed to hit that person with penny precision, hit a penny from that 200 yards away with that type of rifle. He's supposed to hit it on the top of their head. He said he looked at it a little sideways, like this person just hit the neck, basically. Like, so he's supposed to, like that. A sharpshooter was supposed to hit that, but a sniper look at it like, that ain't nothing. I could do it further away. I look a little sloppy. That's his position. And so when that older fellow, who observed from the crowd, he just called out, that's a sharpshooter. So I just want to be emphasize the distinctions of words, because I see a lot of people saying
sharpshooter, or did he just say the shooter?
He said a sharpshooter.
Let's play it again.
Please do.
A good shooter, not a sharpshooter.
No one heard that. I didn't hear it.
All right, so let's move forward in the video. He's about to break it all down. Let's go.
That's a sharpshooter, bro. Volume's off.
Okay, look, he did say sharpshooter after that. He did say
the volume in the background is off. Well, we can't hear the video.
He said good shooter, then he said when he brought it back up, he did say sharpshooter. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, no one in the
So
no
first
one
he
in the
says
back.
good
not to
shooter,
hear the
and then he
video.
said sharpshooter. My bad.
No one can hear the video though in the back. No one can hear the video right now.
You can't hear the video?
No, yeah, no one can hear the video. Yep.
All right, let me bring it back up. I mean, this
Sharpshooters
is hopefully
are
I'm.
must.
Okay, let's go. Can you hear this?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Why can't I find my
Yeah,
damn?
sharpshooter, they could have any type of weapon too. Like they're magicians as well. Like with the shooting precision, it doesn't. They have archery type of precision with the weapons, with the guns. They're a sharpshooter. Sniper. Like I was saying, that's a more specialized category, but to the sharpshooters, they rarely miss. That's what they do.
Well, he didn't miss. The person.
That's what I'm saying. A sharpshooter is and a sniper. A sniper can be a sharpshooter, but not all
You
sharpshooters are
guys hear the
snipers.
audio now when I play it? Hold on, let me just see.
Shot. Oh, the guy. I don't think he did it.
Can you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Let's go.
Yes,
I think they arrested the wrong guy. I think whoever did it was a good shooter.
So you got two clips that I found important. Was one, it was a single shot that no one heard two shots. So one single shot. That's a sign of competency.
A sharpshooter.
When you heard the shot, did it sound like it was close?
So he did say a good shooter, a sharpshooter, but I don't know why he cut that. Let's go.
Near to where he was speaking, or did it sound like it was coming from afar, maybe in the back of the crowd, or could you tell?
It's a
No,
sharpshooter.
it sounded like it was the back of the crowd, which was pretty wild. I don't know though. It's like it must have been closer, but then again, it's like if it was that close, how did nobody else?
It's the telltale sign of a sniper. People are amazed about how accurate it was. Must have been close, but it sounded far. It is clearly far. I mean, if we go back to the shot over again,
Not counting gang violence. Great.
you can hear it come overhead, but it's close because the impact it follows the shot so closely. If it was a really long distance, you'd see Charlie, his head would whip back, he would collapse, and then you would hear the sound a second later. But this is close.
Not counting gang violence. Great.
Immediately, it's bam. Oh, first his head jerks, which would make sense because the bullet is traveling faster than sound, so he would have no chance of hearing it. The bullet would hit him, lights would go out, and then you would hear the sound, and that's exactly what happened.
Counting gang violence. Great.
His head jerks, and then you hear the sound, and then it hits an artery. It hits this artery right here. Immediately, just pints and pints of blood are pouring out. Very, very, very low chance of survival. The thing that's interesting though is the bullet wound was, and I'm blurring it here, but the bullet wound is if it was a bigger round, even a 308, there would be, I think, a little more swelling, a little bit more like a vacuum implosion when a big round enters a vacuum. It goes inside and sucks a bunch of air in, and then the air explodes and expands out, and there's a lot more trauma and swelling. But this round looks like a 5.56 type of round, a smaller round, but enough to do a lot of trauma once it gets inside the body. But clearly it just severed the artery, the carotid artery on his left side, and the shot comes from the left. So that's another detail I'm looking for. So the shot is coming. They're in an auditorium, and it's a concave, So the shooter had to have been shooting at an elevated position downward and somewhere a little off to the left side, because it hits the left side, but straight. If we see, we'll see earlier that there's not many places that the shooter could have been. If we try to angle it in a similar way, all these buildings right here were filled with people. These rooftops were filled with people. All this courtyard area and auditorium was completely filled with people. So there's no way someone's just going to be in the middle of a crowd and pull out a pistol and get one accurate shot like that, luckily, because someone around them would bump them, and no professional would take that risk. And then if you're further away, you're looking, it has to be somewhere over here. Those are some higher buildings. But we do have a shot of the suspect on the main suspect on a rooftop, so we'll get to that, and then try to line it up to see which building it was.
So there's somebody on.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
So then, after the first wave of commotion, a lot of people were speculating. I was listening in on a Twitter live. People were trying to confirm, what did Charlie pass away? Was he still alive? What was his condition? And eventually he did pass away. And President Trump tweeted this out that he passed away, and that kind of confirmed it. And then there was reports that the suspect in custody, they let him go, or it wasn't really him. They got the wrong shooter, which was kind of obvious.
The best lives that.
And then this other wave of video came out that I started downloading. And then now I'm more paying attention to the line of sight and the path of the bullet. So this is showing the kind of the depression that this auditorium is in. It goes down, and then so the shooter would have to have been somewhere probably on this building is what I'm looking for.
Over the last 10 years. Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
It just sounds like a sniper rifle.
Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
Just off.
Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
Here's a picture I found. People are saying, or measuring the distance, and this is 500 feet.
Yeah, it was like tika. It was like tika. Like,
then this video
it would have been a little bit like it would have been so fast.
Right
So
here.
there's somebody on the roof right there. Just saying. He just ran from over. Where's my finger?
In all black, looks like, appears to be.
Up.
Yeah, Charlie Kirk
They
had the DEI security.
So there's somebody on
So these
they didn't
kids are, I
canvass the
think, suspecting
situation.
that if this is a security sniper, that he should already be there, and this is kind of late for him to be arriving.
Right.
But of course, it's really hard for someone like this to suspect that this is actually an assassin. Like, it's the last thing you would think if you're not used to this kind of environment. Here's the best video we have to really show that, okay, this was what we think. Here you can see the shooter up here on the roof running.
Oh, he got up
That
and ran to
must
see
be
him.
this building right here. Let's see if we can. The teenagers must have been right over here. Filming the video. They're on this large sidewalk, this wide walking area, and then we got the 3 steps right here. Let's see if it lines up. Yeah, that's got to be it. So there's somewhere, he's filming us somewhere on this path, and then you have these 3 stages, and the shooter is somewhere up here. So that shooter knew what he was doing. On one hand, he knew where he was going. He knew what position he needed to be in to get the shot. This was planned to some extent. But it's just interesting that if I was the shooter, I would have been inside this building. I would have somehow found a way to shoot from inside this building. Who knows if it was possible, but maybe it wasn't possible. But exposing yourself as a silhouette, walking on a rooftop all in black, is a crazy amount of risk to take as a professional. I would never do it. So
I wanted to like just show you how surgical this guy is, right? And all snipers have this precise level of surgicalness when it comes down to how they are going to execute someone, you know? I wanted to bring this to my audience because I don't think that people really understand that there's this world that exists like this. That there's people that actually like in their mind like calculate, okay, and like, oh, okay, this happened. Okay, well, I would have did it this way. I would have been inside the building. It would have muffled the rifle a little more. You know, just that type of stuff. I just want people to know that there's people out here that are on that level of precision when it comes to this type of thing. And so when things like this happen, and then this guy saying this was, listen, it was somewhat professional, but not all the way.
I'm going to point out a couple things.
Okay, go ahead.
And not take up too much time. There's a sensitive timeline right now. This happened yesterday on a Wednesday. I want to be very careful as well and serve a disclaimer. We got we have a few events coming up, especially the one in Las Vegas this Saturday, Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. I want to point out that it wasn't too long ago, I believe it was in the pandemic, that also there was a sniper who was shooting from a hotel room, almost like how this gentleman in this video is describing right here as a sniper. The Las Vegas sniper shot a bunch of people and was able to get away. He was able to bring all his artillery into the hotel. I just want to be clear that there is a event coming up, and hopefully this suspect is captured. There's a sensitive timeline. Americans shouldn't have to be getting more hysterical by people online, talking heads, provoking them to, or suggesting or gaslighting that that there's something gonna pop off. It's the left, it's the right. I hope that our authorities, our professionals, are able to find some resolve right away.
To quell that, yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I did this show. I wanted to show that this is not your average person that did this. This is not like a person that's just got mad and got like a rifle and shot. This is a person that is a skilled marksman. I don't know if the way he says it, that he's not professional, but he's accurate somewhat, but there were certain aspects to where he probably, if he would have did it, he would have did it this way. And I wanted to like bring awareness that there's this thing that exists that are snipers. That there's also, like a whole. So I wanted to like let my audience exist.
Palantir has this person is tracking they're going through it, but I want to be also say this. A lot of Americans can pick up what's going on. The intimacy, the details of all this, especially what this guy's talking about. It's not too academic what he's speaking on. Just want to be very clear there. There's killers at young ages. There's not killers who are just doing this at an old age. There's a lot of young killers at early ages. And these things have been done before. And it's time to just address that this is not unfamiliar to us.
I would say this. It might be unfamiliar to us, but in other countries, this thing happens all the time.
And I want to be very clear. It's not unfamiliar to us here in the United States. It's not. It happens here more times than anything. I've already brought up several cases where these type of things have happened. But hey, Americans have been almost preconditioned to go through these things again and again. This is not new.
I think compared to other countries, that snipers do not be hitting the U.S. like they be hitting other countries.
That's false.
Okay, so can you give me
false.
like some evidence of like?
I've already given you several.
I look it up. Okay,
I've given you several already.
Right, that's like
you don't recall that Las Vegas guy who hit about like 50 people.
Right, but how many years ago was that? There's other countries.
I told you it was in a pandemic. That wasn't too long ago.
No, I'm saying
there's
this happening like constantly. Even like, okay, if you're in Iraq, there's all type of snipers going on. If you're in like a war-torn country, your sniper fire is not an abnormal thing.
We have more killers over here. We have the United States of America has a high killing rate. This is nothing to brag about either, but I just want to be clear, like, it makes these other countries look crazy. That's why when they come over here, a lot of foreigners, when they come over here, is either they believe that the streets are paved with milk and gold, or it's just like in the movies, you know? And there's something to that. It's right here, sis. Where do you think these countries learn this stuff from? Uncle Sam is the greatest military recruiter.
So Finland has produced the historically deadliest sniper, Simo Häyhä, with over 500 confirmed in less than 100 days during Winter War. So there are other countries that have snipers that are we get a sniper that have this kind of attack happen.
We're talking about snipers. We're talking about hitting people all the time.
Years. No, I'm not. No, I'm talking about sniper event. This is this event. See this?
That dude is not a sniper.
This guy said he was a sniper. Hold on, let's continue. Let me finish watching this so you can see, because he's saying that this is not not a average Joe. It's a okay. Let's go. Let's see. Let's go. I'm not gonna. Let's go.
Those are things that tell me that this is like an amateur, right? Professional enough
Come on, sis.
to do it, but not
you hear
professional to
him
get away with it.
Oh, sis.
And that's my current take on it. So of course I'm gonna be looking to see if they catch this individual, and I'm curious to know who was this person. But the suspect right now has changed to this person right here. We have this Twitter post I just seen. Again, this is not confirmed. This is speculation. That's why I'm blurring their face. But transgender, same tags, and clear threat. Charlie Kirk is coming to my college tomorrow. I hope someone evaporates him literally. So there's a death threat. And then later on, let's just say something big will happen tomorrow. So then that's a sign of intent and a sign of planning something. And sure enough, something big did happen. So, and I'll just say something about transgenderism. These past couple mass shootings have been transgenders, which is, it's not a woman becoming a man. It's always a man becoming a woman. I just find that interesting. And for me being a man, I know that men naturally, no matter what you do, I happen to believe in God. I happen to believe in two genders, and that this is a mental issue. And one thing I'll say is, as a man, I know that only men have this kind of, I can't say only men, mostly men have this kind of aggression that will defend their ideals to the death and kill over their opinions. Women don't naturally have that kind of inclination to kill or be killed over their opinions. Women are more likely to kind of be susceptible and go with the flow of the culture and the community and the people around them. It's men that have that innate desire to kill or be killed over their opinions and ideals and principles. And so it's just interesting that all the transgenders happen to be, well, not all, but most of them happen to be, from my understanding, men who are trying to become women, but then decide they want to get in touch with their killer instinct and start killing people over this shit.
Pause.
So that's then we get into.
I like to add on to what he said, not the gender part, but the aggression of man. And on this planet, there are two males who are the most aggressive men. And that is the white man and the black man. And guess where they're found? Here in the United States of America. These are the most two aggressive males that you would see on planet Earth. Pound for pound. That's in the rankings. Continue, please.
To after the aftermath of them trying to find it.
Just east of the library. He's wearing jeans, black shirt, black mask, long rifle.
So then, this is police chatter. The police now realize that the main suspect is still on the go, and he's got a long rifle. That's kind of the main thing I was looking for. Is if this is a accurate rifle, then there's going to be a long rifle, and that's going to be hard to conceal. And there's no way that someone just in the crowd is just getting away with concealing a long rifle.
Black mask, long rifle.
They released that individual. Okay.
So apparently they released the old guy.
And they're still looking for him. Do they think it's in? He left campus. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
In the backyard of a home right next to UVU campus.
This is someone from near the campus who's recording some kind of SWAT team or something who are patrolling and trying to find the suspect, and they're going through this person's backyard. So
another suspect
kind of gives you, to me, the information I take away is that the guy's on the run and they're looking for him, but they haven't caught him. And so he has a chance of getting away at this point because they haven't caught him on the spot. And as the further, more time and distance that he gets away from the X, and the higher chance and odds he has of getting away with it.
Wow.
So that's.
So I wanted to be clear that there's
incredibly.
The Assassin League, the Sniper League, the Sharpshooter League, they may be aware of each other, but this is an assassin. I think people are getting away from the word.
It's not like necessarily a sniper, but an assassin.
This is an assassin who has a sharpshooting abilities. This is an assassin.
And you know,
there's different levels to this stuff, but the media uses so many word semantics to change every just like the laws in the United States, every state usually has a brand new change of law every Wednesday. You know, laws change every day in the United States, not federally, but state to state, just about every week.
You know what's interesting where he brought up the whole transgender aspect?
Mhm.
I did a show. What did I do this show? I did a show, I would say 6 months ago, about this cult called the Zizian cult. And the
Mhm.
leader of this cult is a computer engineer that was a part of like this Silicon Valley thing. And he had this whole thing, but he actually faked his death. I'm gonna play you guys some of this. Who knows if what about if all this transgender stuff is really going on because this guy is still alive? Like this, there's an actual transgender cult, you guys. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of it. It's called the Zizian cult. Now we might be getting a little bit off subject, but
No,
I
we're not.
show you guys this because I'm like, bro, what if there's something connected to what this whole situation is? Because what is up with these transgenders all of a sudden becoming sharpshooters? Because this is a murderous cult right here. This is a very murderous cult. Like the guy faked his death and everything. So let me go into it. I'm sure. I hope everybody heard that. But yeah, that's this cult. It's called the Zizians, and its leader. So the crazy thing about this particular cult is the leader. He is a software engineer. He at one point was a intern at NASA.
Vegans.
Most of the cult members are ex computer engineers. They're all from the Silicon Valley, and they decided to kind of get away from society. They started off on living on tugboats and living off the ocean, and then something happened to where the tugboats began to like leak oil into the water, and so the national was it not the National Guard, but what's the military for the ocean? What is that? Whatever, I think it's the National Guard, whatever it is, the Sea Patrol, whatever. They kind of like they had to get them off of there, and the government like kind of did like a lawsuit against them, and so they ended up leaving the tugboat and moving into these boxcars onto the side of the on the dock of the of where the boats were. There's another older guy that owned a RV park, and so what they did was the Coast Guard. It's called the Coast Guard. Yes. Are you coming up, Mel? So like the coast, he's part of the Coast Guard, and I mean, sorry, the Coast Guard kicked him off of that area, and then so the next thing happened is they ended up
hit the like button, subscribe. Hit the like button, subscribe.
Like this RV park where it was owned by an older gentleman. I'm gonna like play a little bit more about that whole thing. But it was owned by an older gentleman. Now what happened is at some point they ended up taking a samurai sword and I guess stabbing the guy in the eye, and he ended up losing his eye. And I don't know what exactly happened again, but at some point they ended up cutting his throat and slaying this guy. I mean, it was just
very kinky.
It's pretty gruesome. So let's go into this second video that I have. Okay, so Mel's gonna come up and talk about this because this is really. I have never heard anything like this before.
I'm just challenging to push
this
you.
This is like Manson on 10.
Right.
Well, like I did this report 6 months ago, and it's interesting. The guy said that it could be a trend when the ex sniper talked about how they were saying it could be like another transgender, and then you had the other transgender that shot up the school, and somebody like beheaded someone in Dallas like yesterday. Like it could. Who knows what connections? All this weird stuff could be connected to this whole, because now that they've taken away transgender rights, And this guy, this Zyzian guy, is still alive. He faked his death.
Synchronized.
Let me tell you how crazy this is. He faked his death. They actually took a picture of him where he was pretending to be dead while he was getting arrested. Like, it's crazy. Watch this. Okay. So, like I said, they're extreme vegans. This cult is a group of extreme vegans. The leader really believes in like animal what's the thing like saving the animals. He believes that animals are our best friend, but honey, he don't think that humans are our best friend, because he's straight up, they were straight
one
up
of the most notorious vegans
people, you know what I'm saying, just left and right.
One of the most notorious vegans ever. Would you want to know who that is?
Jeffrey Dahmer.
No.
Who?
He was definitely not a vegan. Adolf Hitler.
Wow.
He had this thing where when he would eat out for dinner or lunch, he would make sure and suggest the menu, and they would have like lentil soups, things of that nature. He didn't eat meat. And so what I'm pointing out is that there's always this superstition that a lot of vegans, they like to live off this myth that meat eaters are the most bloodiest and aggressive. I just want to kind of debunk it just a tad bit. And you can Google some of what I'm saying, because like I've said, I study behavior. I've taken these exams. I try not to do anything that's invalid with my information. I try to give the most credible, right information. And I'm pushing the host to do her all to get these views up.
The biggest part is it seems like they kept getting let go of. Like they kept getting like the police would get them in custody and then they would let them out on bond. And they'd be on the run and all this other stuff. I mean, it's just interesting because we've had a couple of our cults in our community, and by the time, I think that the FBI was kind of following them and getting a lead on them, because their whole like situation was just stretching across. Their whole spree that they were doing. I mean, it went from San Francisco, like that Bay Area, all the way to Vermont. This whole spree of like killings. So it's pretty gruesome how these people, what they were doing. So let me play this. This is a video that I did, and this is crazy. Watch when you hear, to give you a little bit of context and background onto the group. You guys gotta excuse me. My voice is like, I'm like coming down with a cold, so my voice is really shaky, and I'm really just pushing out, trying to do this live. I was gonna take a nap because my daughter, you know how it is. You want to get rid of a cold, you give it to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And my daughter gave me the cooties, y'all. She gave me the straight up cooties, okay? And I've been over here struggling to talk and everything. Can't even talk, So let me see if I can like get this to show up on the screen. All right. Watch when y'all hear this. It could be connected to them. When even that other killer, like it could be them. Like, because these are. Listen, watch when you hear this. I'm sorry. Hold on. All right, let's go.
The making of a leader from rationality to radicalism. Jack Lesotho was once a name lost in the labyrinth of the internet. A 34-year-old transgender woman, Lesotho, known online as Ziz, had a background in computer science and a history with the rationalist movement. This group, dedicated to logic and evidence-based reasoning, seemed a far cry from the esoteric beliefs Lesotho would come to espouse. But the internet has a way of twisting and turning paths, and Lesotho's was no different. Lesotho's blog, a digital diary of sorts, chronicled this very transition. Early entries were steeped in the language of rationalism, tackling complex philosophical theories and technological advancements. Over time, a shift occurred. The posts became increasingly esoteric, laced with disillusionment towards humanity and cryptic pronouncements about a new world order. This marked the genesis of the Zizian group, a tight-knit circle of individuals drawn to Lesoto's increasingly radical ideology. The rationalist community, once a space of intellectual exploration for Lesotho, became a battleground. In 2019, Lesotho and several followers were arrested during a protest against a prominent rationalist organization. The charges were minor, a blip on the radar of what was to come, but it foreshadowed the escalating conflict between Lesotho's evolving beliefs and the world she sought to reshape. This incident, however, was just the tip of the iceberg. Lesotho's digital footprint, once a trail of intellectual curiosity, was morphing into something more sinister. The blog, once a space for philosophical debate, became a platform for pronouncements that bordered on the unhinged. The line between rational thought and radical ideology was blurring, and Lesotho was leading the charge. Inside the Zizian maze, beliefs and justifications. The Zizian ideology is a tangled web woven from threads of veganism, anarchism, and a deep-seated distrust of authority. At its core lies a distorted interpretation of rationalism, warped to justify increasingly illegal and violent actions. Lesotho's blog posts became increasingly unhinged, riddled with cryptic pronouncements about a new world order. She preached a gospel of personal liberation through radical action, casting aside societal norms and embracing a dangerous brand of self-righteousness. This radical shift was not a sudden leap, but a gradual descent into an abyss of their own making. The group's online presence, initially a forum for sharing vegan recipes and discussing philosophical concepts, morphed into an echo chamber of extremism. They developed their own language, a lexicon of coded messages and insider jargon that further isolated them from the outside world. Their justifications for violence stemmed from a dangerous cocktail of self-importance and a warped sense of justice. They saw themselves as revolutionaries, crusaders fighting against a corrupt system. Any action, no matter how heinous, could be rationalized as a necessary step towards achieving their warped vision of a better world. The group's ideology, however, remained frustratingly nebulous, a constantly shifting kaleidoscope of conspiracy theories, esoteric symbolism, and radical pronouncements. Their actions often seemed contradictory, lacking a clear and consistent motive. Were they driven by a desire for chaos, a thirst for power, or were they simply lost souls, grasping for meaning in a world that had left them behind? The answer, like the group itself, remained frustratingly elusive. A trail of violence, crimes, and casualties. The year 2022 marked a turning point in the Zizians' trajectory, their digital radicalism spilling into real-world violence. A false obituary for Lesotho surfaced online, a macabre publicity stunt that only deepened the mystery surrounding the group. They resurfaced in Vallejo, California,
Listen, you guys. This was only 2 years ago that these people were murdering people. They went underground. Okay? The leader faked his death. And now all of a sudden you see people popping up in these weird transgender rantings and raving. This is interesting, you guys. Now that the government is kind of like banning certain things that have to do with the LGBT community, it is interesting to see that there are more violent outbursts, including shootings and this, that, the other, happening from the transgender. And then when you look at the community, they're not even people that would look like a transgender. They're like, I'm a female, but then they don't even try to even do the whole like I'm a transgender. So this is what makes me think there's a connection to this cult and what is happening, because as you can see, when you look at this Zizian cult, they don't look nothing like a transgender, like what I would think a transgender, like they're trying to transition, right?
Residence on a property owned by Curtis Lind. A dispute over rent escalated into a violent confrontation, leaving Lind stabbed and Zizian member Emma Borhanian dead. As the investigation into the Vallejo incident unfolded, a chilling pattern of violence began to emerge. Richard and Rita Zajko, parents of Zizian member Michelle Zajko, were found shot dead in their Pennsylvania home. The connection to the Zizians was undeniable. Lesotho herself was charged with obstruction and disorderly conduct in relation to the Zajko murders, further solidifying the group's association with violence. The violence escalated in January 2025 with the murder of Curtis Lind in Vallejo. Zizian member Maximilian Snyder was charged with the crime, allegedly silencing Lind to prevent his testimony.
So they killed their last person in 2025. I did this 6 months ago when they killed that person. Listen, people need to pay attention to these budding cults because this is something weird going on with this, guys.
Against the group.
Could I also,
Days later,
ask
U.S. Border Patrol agent David Malland was killed in a shootout with Zizian's Teresa Youngblood and Felix Barkholt, known as Ophelia, in Vermont. Barkholt was also killed in the exchange. The gun used was traced back to Michelle Zajko, further implicating the Zizians in a web of violence that stretched across state lines. This string of violent incidents left investigators baffled. The seemingly random nature of the attacks, coupled with the group's opaque ideology, made it difficult to establish a clear motive. Were these acts of retribution, desperate attempts to protect their leader, or were they simply expressions of the group's nihilistic worldview, a belief that violence was the only logical response to a world spiraling towards chaos? Unmasking the cult motivations, experts, and legal battles.
All right, what were you going to say?
Yes. Let me see. I was going to ask you a question, DJ Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a little to do with the transgender, but I said a little. But a major question that you could probably help me out with, and maybe the audience as well. How do I say this? What is your opinion on the connection that a lot of the hatred and vitriol that you hear online or read in the comment sections connecting Black people in the United States with what's going on right now? And also, are you aware that there's a lot of HBCUs that are on lockdown, and they've had over 24 today, and they've had bomb threats? Where do you think this stems from when we're zeroing on a suspect? We have some type of picture of this person. We're getting more information, but you're hearing this echo of Civil War and
I think that what they're doing is that they found I don't know, they found a person to trigger something.
Mm-hmm.
I think that even though I'm bringing up this Zizian cult does not mean, just because a person's transgender does not mean that they're not racist.
Exactly. Thank you for pointing that out.
Okay, so just because they might have a LGBT mindset does not mean that they are also open racially to like the whole blacks. They might be very racist towards black, but also transgender. So I believe that. So even though I'm showing this cult, I'm showing the murderous aspect of them. But I'm also letting people understand that just because you see a person that might do some kind of a mass violent thing and they might be a transgender, it does not mean that they on your side. So if this person turns out to be a transgender person that killed Charlie Kirk, it does not mean that it's just the transgenders getting mad about transgenderism. They could be a part of the very movement of trying to start a civil war, because they're both of like the two militias or whatever align, whatever their ideals are, what they're trying to do align. You understand? So if I have existentialism or whatever this thing is, the rationalist movement, and I have naturalist movement, Well, then I could just be rational nationalists, and then we all come together, and we just because we could like just like Batman and fucking Joker could probably come together one moment to fight against the fucking Dot Man, and then once they kill the Dot Man, they're back enemies again, and watch out for Joker. You understand what I'm saying? Two villains, a villain and a hero can fight or whatever. They can fight against with each other, and to go against one person. And then when that threat is annihilated, then they can begin to argue with each other again and fight each other. Because now they eliminated the third threat.
Wow. Ours.
So that's what I believe. I believe that we would be very dumb to think that just because a person is transgender that they could not be on some bullshit. Okay. Racially and on some racism bullshit. Let's go.
The Zizians, with their charismatic leader, esoteric beliefs, and growing list of alleged crimes, ticked all the boxes of a cult. Cult expert Pulomi Saha, commenting on the case, noted the group's unorthodox viewpoints and Lesoto's hold over her followers as hallmarks of cult dynamics. The Zizians fit the profile, Saha remarked, but their motivations remain shrouded in mystery. Jessica Taylor, an AI researcher familiar with some Zizian members from her time in the rationalist movement, offered a different perspective. They were drawn to the idea of rationality, Taylor explained, but somewhere along the way those beliefs became twisted, used to justify the unjustifiable. This distortion of logic, she argued, was key to understanding the group's descent into violence. In February 2025, Lesotho, along with Michelle Zaiko and Daniel Blank, were apprehended in Maryland for trespassing, obstruction, and weapons violations. Lesotho's lawyer, Daniel McGarrigle, urged the public to avoid speculation and premature conclusions, maintaining his client's innocence. However, with several Zizian members either incarcerated or awaiting trial for a litany of crimes, the group's future seemed bleak. The Zizians, once a fringe group operating in the shadowy corners of the internet, had become a subject of national attention. Their story served as a chilling reminder of the dark side of online radicalization, where fringe beliefs can fester and ultimately erupt into real-world violence. The question remained, what drove this group of individuals to such extremes? The answer, much like the group itself, remained shrouded in mystery, a puzzle yet to be fully pieced together.
So here's the thing. So now we're going to go into what happened now. All the violence that they caused, and the leader is still not apprehended today. I did this 6 months ago. They have not caught this guy yet. The guy faked his death, and now you're seeing weird stuff about transgender people being snipers and shooting up schools. So I don't know if this is the ideology that's still spreading online and underneath in some Discord chat rooms, but I want you guys to be aware that this is going on. So let's go.
Are charged with murder and attempted murder. A few months later, in Chester Heights, Pennsylvania, Richard Zatko and his wife Rita are found shot to death in their home. And Jack Lesotho, the namesake of the Zizian movement, was arrested in the state as police investigated that crime, indicating that Ziz was actually very much alive. Remember the federal lawsuit Ziz filed in 2021? That's now dismissed because the plaintiffs are unwilling to pursue further action. In November of last year, Teresa Youngblood and Maximilian Snyder applied for a marriage license in Washington state. It's unclear if they ever got married. The couple went to high school together in Seattle and studied computer science at prestigious universities. We'll get back to them in a second. On January 17th, 2025, Curtis Lynn, the Vallejo landlord, is attacked and stabbed yet again. This time, Lynn dies from his injuries. We talked to a man who works at an auto body shop across the street from where the crime happened. Here's what he said of the gruesome killing.
El señor, Mr. Curtis, se bajó de su carro y él llegó y lo abrazó por atrás y lo empezó a apuñalar. Algunos muchachos vieron y trataron de ayudarle y el muchacho se regresó nuevamente a seguirlo apuñalando y le cortó el cuello.
Lynn was set to provide key testimony in the upcoming trial against his 2019 attackers. On January 20th, Youngblood, the supposed newlywed, and a German national, Felix.
So what happened is that So they stabbed him in the eye with a sword. Okay, I don't know whether he let them still stay there, some kind of weird thing. It was strange, right? So they stabbed him in the eye. Then they come back, stab him and slit his throat. This is the type of stuff that's going on. Then they got away with it. This is the crazy part. This is why I think there's some kind of a weird, I don't know what's going on. Like, and this is only 6 months ago. This is not something that happened like years ago. This was like January 20th of 2025, bro. This like didn't happen. This is like we're not even in. We're okay. We're like about what 8 months ago, I guess.
Baucol, also known as Ophelia, are driving near the Vermont-Canada border. They're pulled over for an immigration check. Young Blute allegedly shoots an officer, and a shootout ensues. Border agent David Mayland and Baucol are killed. Young Blute is arrested and faces 2 weapons charges. Investigators say Young Blute had been in frequent contact with a person of interest in the Vallejo murder case, who had also been detained in the Pennsylvania double homicide. The day after the border shootout, an alert is issued calling Michelle Zatko a person of interest in the killing of border agent Mayland and seeks info on Zatko's purchase of firearms. Michelle is also listed in another law enforcement bulletin as a person of interest in the Pennsylvania double slaying. Michelle's name is listed on legal notices regarding the estates of Richard and Rita. Maximilian Snyder, meanwhile, is arrested by Vallejo police in Reading. He's a suspect in the Lynn murder. He's booked in Solano County Jail without.
Can we just? I'm sorry. This is insane. What? What?
So I'm gonna ask you a question.
Listening to this?
I want to ask you a question, DJ Genesis.
Yeah.
So this Maximilian Snyder has a coochie?
Yeah, I think that's a
They
woman.
were born with a coochie.
The men are women and the women are men.
I want to ask you a question. Is Maximilian? I'm taking this on. So, is Maximilian Snyder right here in this picture was born with a coochie?
I don't know. They're transgender, so I don't know if this is
these are females who transformed into males.
From men.
This
are
one right
men.
here.
They're all men, but they turned into women. These are all transgendered men, so they all have penises. And what's weird about the whole thing is that they don't like they're not trying to look like females. It's like they just say I'm transgender. Like they're not like some transgender people get like the whole like surgery and no, they just said I believe in the transgender ideology.
But it wouldn't be too far
weird, like religious ideology that we all are female or some shit like that. But so they don't really have to like become like a female. Like they don't. So like imagine a dude with a beard, like I'm a female, or that type of thing.
Gotcha, but it wouldn't be too far fetched where someone who's a transgender looks like a man, but also does have a coochie, was born with a coochie, and is just transitioning into more of a
this is called a transgender cult.
Gotcha.
So
all the above.
Yeah, I don't know if there are some females. I think there's like one couple, but I'm like, okay, if that's a couple and they're both male and female, is that transgender at this point? Like, what do we do? I don't know. It's very confusing. I don't know who's a man, who's a woman, but I know it's when you look at the mug shots of all of them, they look like all men. So I don't know exactly what's going on.
Gotcha.
Let's go. Now, the reason why I wanted to cover this about this cult is because, we have different cults that I've heard. I have never heard of such a thing. I mean, these people are excessively violent. You understand me? Get pulled over by the police and just start busting. I mean, the dude, they hit him with a samurai sword in the chest. He tased the girl. They come back, slit his throat. You understand what I'm saying? How violent you have to be to execute something so extreme. And these people, I don't see how they were able to like make it. Now, the part that's baffling me is now that even as we speak today and we're going through this case, do you know that the biggest part of that people are starting to talk about is the fact that people are getting misgendered because they're a transgender cult, and the transgender community is getting behind this whole situation, and they have a problem with the fact that certain members were getting misgendered in the actual news and when they covered this.
Wow. So instead of hello everybody, and what's poppin', Genesis? Thank you for having me.
Hey, how's it going?
It's child. You put me on to something new right here. I was like, what in the world is?
Watch this. So the whole cult is transgender.
And well, I mean, okay, no judgment. This a trigger warning. This is a no judgment zone. I'm just me personally. I don't get the transitioning, because then you're just going back to what you were. Aren't you attracted to what you were in the first place? Technically,
see this. This is all their picture. These are all dudes, bro.
Well, I just want to be clear because
you see the Adam's apple. These are all men, bro.
Yeah. However, that one right there, Maximilian,
might be she might be a female turning into a male, because they have made to take their mustaches off and stuff like this. I don't know exactly what's going on.
Exactly. There's some questions.
But yeah, this is
fellas, you got to go beyond what you got to go beyond when you out there drinking. You got to go beyond the baby pictures and the Adam's apples today.
Let me tell you something, like, bro,
you got to check them feet, them hands.
There's no way that you would ever mistake this person for a male for a female. They are not even trying to look like a female, bro. Look at this. These are men with a middle part. Okay, these are not females. But they're not even trying to look. They're not putting on no make. They're not trying to look like no female. They are just proclaiming they believe in an ideology of trans, not because they are really trying to go get like hormones. They're not getting hormones. They just believe in transgender ideology. This is what's even really crazy about this. So you see a person. I just want to I want people to take a look at this. These transgender.
That's wild. That's wild. First of all, they don't even like they transitioning. They just look like a bunch of men with long hair. Sorry to say it.
I don't, man.
I think, and not to be funny, maybe they're just, I mean, they could be hiding behind the guise of the LGBTQ plus community, that, you know what I mean, maybe to get some defense or an out of some sort, or some type of support, possibly. I don't know. But they don't look they don't like their transitioning to me. But
it could be about support. It could be about, because the fact that the country at that time was like a taboo to say anything about transgender. They figured out, hey, you know what I'm saying, we transgender, so now you can't say nothing to us. You know what I'm saying? And now they use that as a whole guise to be able to like really be able to manipulate the system. Who knows? Because like I said, the guy faked his death. Watch when I show you this. Watch.
They wore all black. They painted their nails black. Everything was black. Everything was dark. So I get that more from them than transgender. I'm not even being funny. What's going on?
They think it's like an emo, like they're emo. They look more emo than anything, right? Guy basically started off with this whole cult. It started off as a blog, and was, you know, and his thoughts. And he was really into Star Wars and Sith Lord and all kind of crazy stuff. Like, these people are like World of Warcraft level nerds. Okay, like they you can see them playing World of Warcraft.
Right, and then like,
you know, collecting Star Wars figures. You know what I'm saying?
And then bringing it into real life. Gotcha.
Right. And they're very highly intelligent. They sit around pontificating about whatever, you know, and then they just and somehow this turned into a very violent. Hey, how's it going, Ingrid? Very violent cult. And without any kind of logic or reason behind it. They just have this spree of like, I think that maybe some of this has to do because I know that the guy right here with the eye missing, he had land that I think they were trying to get control of. You know, he had a whole RV park that I think that they were trying to get. And I think that if they would have got off him, then they would have been able to own that land. I think that that's what that was about. And I think that there was some insurance money involved with the parents, Kay, you know what I'm saying? When they went over to Vermont and killed the parents. So I think that there's some probably like, you know, when it has to do with money. Now I know with the police officer, what happened is that they were being followed by the police officer, and because the FBI had been on their trail, and so when the police officer pulled them over, I think that they had already knew because the hotel said that the young lady had a gun on her hip, like she was actually open carrying with the gun.
Wow.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? So this is the cults, right? And then you got people open carrying, walking in the hotels. Like these people are out of their mind. Like, what are we doing here? They're not even trying to conceal anything. So let's go into it. Let's go. What's other stuff?
Right.
Like,
that's what I'm like.
Them according to what their gender is on their ID.
Right.
So that's I wanted to like really show that part. Where even when people are discussing this, then the intellectuals, because this guy's a doctor, you know, they get caught up in the whole hoopla of, oh, well, law enforcement was misgendering them. Law enforcement is not, this is not a news, they're not the news. That law enforcement is a law enforcement. And they're going to go by what's on your birth certificate and what's on your identification. When you go into prison, you're going to go into the part that's on your ID. Okay, and if they're not fully transitioned, I don't think that they're going to end up being able to go into a female prison. So
I believe so. I think if they still have like the.
Yeah, see, this is the thing. I think that there's also a thing about like the certain communities where they are very super duper sensitive to the LGBT, and they get to overly getting sensitive about like misgendering and this and that and blah. And this was really a big aspect of the Trump's administration. If you notice. Like all the like things and all the like democratic things that they like were able to like try to like make happen is getting reversed by Trump. And then you have Kirk like coming out there talking about the same thing. So I know I sound crazy, but it's like, bro, listen, I think there's a connection to a lot of like the root, because I mean, I don't think that MAGA people are going to try to kill Kirk. I think it has to be to do somewhat, because if it's a white person, it would have a connection with this whole transgender ideation and the fact that he might be pushing Trump's ideals in that, and then they don't like that stuff, and they might be getting like, you know, there might be more transgender cults popping up other than the Zizian cults, you know?
Hold up.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say this one thing. I heard exactly what you said, and I do agree with many of the sentiments. However, did you know that we live in the best country in the world, and we have the greatest president of the United States ever, Donald J. Trump?
Okay, that's not the point I'm trying to make. That's not the point I'm trying to make.
Let's cut to the beautiful beam footage. Hit the like button and subscribe.
Yeah, that's not the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to make a point about.
I just asked the question. I asked the question.
What's the question? You didn't ask a question. You made a statement.
I did. I said, did you know?
Okay, let's go.
The biological parts, physical parts of their original gender.
Let's go.
Practical purposes. I typically use preferred.
He got a dang on shame that he has to go into all the. Hold on, let me go back into. Let me rewind it so you could hear how. All right, so this guy's a doctor.
For the mix. To make this story easier to understand, I'm simply going to use the pronouns that correspond with the typical gender associated with the first names of the individuals. So a masculine first name would be he, him. A feminine first name would be she, her. If this happens to correspond with the individual's preferred pronouns, great. If it doesn't, well, that's just the way it is. This is not some type of political statement. This is just being done for practical purposes. I typically use preferred pronouns.
He got a dang on shame that he has to go into all this tirade before he even goes into the story, because that is being such of a thing that's being focused on instead of these people's lives that have been taken?
Well, now it's given agenda, but let's listen to some more. But,
but I mean, a whole
right,
1 minute.
Right, we're giving a whole introduction or a clarification on why they were being misgendered or about misgendering them, versus this is an emergency because lives are being taken. You know what I mean? Like by just
and why this is even a subject is crazy to me, because these people they call them it because they're monsters. Okay.
That part. That's I'm like I'm and again, like I said, no offense, and you know what I'm saying, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but at this point, are they even human? I'm not even worrying about the gender. Like this is giving savage right now.
Right, like complete savagery. Like they just they are on like some Hollywood level.
I hate to say it, they on demon time.
That's some new thing that this came out, because I've never heard of no transgender ideology.
You asking the wrong one.
Either you're transgender or you're not. Is there like a whole what is that? Is this a school of thought now? Is there like a whole school of thought, a transgender school of thought?
Right, I guess
I'm not aware of.
I guess it.
Let's hear it. There is definitely going to be a movie on Netflix about this.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. Oh, a whole series on Hulu. Somebody.
Something's going to happen.
Pronouns for those invested in the transgender ideology because I believe it's polite, but that would not make a lot of sense in this story. It would only make it much more confusing. With that said, let's get started with the background. Jack Amadeus Lasota was born in 1991 and lived in the state of Alaska. His father was an AI researcher at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. Jack earned a bachelor's degree in computer science from the same university. After this, he interned with NASA. At some point, Jack became invested in the transgender ideology. He moved to the San Francisco.
The transgender ideology? There's a such thing as a transgender ideology? So it's not like just being a transgender. This is a whole different thing than just I need to transition. That's the part I'm trying to drive home, guys.
Because their ideology is.
Let me see. Let me go into what he said some more. Let's go. They just say, you know what, I'm a transgender. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I'm like, are they hiding behind the guise of the LGBTQ plus community to try to get some type of defense? Because now at this point, to me, it's giving mental illness. Because now you're being manipulative with the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's what it seemed like, that they're manipulating the situation,
right,
in order to be able to get the benefits of that.
Right, to fit them all what they want. Mm-hmm. I got you.
So let's go.
Okay. Bay Area in 2016 and worked in technology. The same year, Jack met a like-minded individual named Gwen Danielson. On July 5, 2017, Jack, Gwen, and another individual purchased a 94-foot tugboat in Ketchikan, Alaska, and recruited a crew to make a voyage to California. Many of these crew members shared Jack's belief system. One could argue that they were his followers. On July 8, the tugboat arrived in Pillar Point Harbor in Half Moon Bay, California.
Was this the tugboat? That's the tugboat they were on. What in the world was going on with these people?
No, they vegan, so they don't need nothing to cook meat on, I guess. I don't know.
What in the world?
I don't know. I guess they said
it was spilling out oil and all kind of wild stuff into the water.
But I thought they wanted to protect the animals. See, now they
right. Well, yeah, they ain't protecting the fish in the water. Come on now.
Well, yeah.
The idea was that Jack and his followers would live affordably aboard this tugboat, which had been built in 1945 and was in disrepair.
Bro, what? Come on now. It's given homeless. It's given like.
Jack's master plan did not work out too well. The tugboat leaked oil into the harbor, and the 3 owners were sued by the government. The Coast Guard proclaimed that the boat was an imminent threat to the public health. In response, Jack and his followers started living in box trucks in the harbor parking lot. At some point, the group met a man named Curtis Lind. He had a boat in the harbor as well. Eventually, Curtis sold it and moved to a trailer yard on Lemon Street in Vallejo. This is 54 miles north of the harbor.
It's giving homeless people. Come on. So let's do the optics of the areas that these people are living in. It's giving very intelligent, highly smart people in California that are living homeless, you know what I'm saying, but then very smart at the same time. in the okay, let me get this land and I'll get some RVs and we'll just live in these little. I'll get inside this truck right here and live in the back of that. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy. Wow.
About 6 to 8 of the group members, including Jack and Gwen, rented 2 RVs in his trailer yard, as well as the option to park 6 trucks. Curtis was charging them $2,000 a month.
What? Charge them $2,000.
What state was this, though? What state was that?
That's what I'm saying. These San Francisco. You know that rent is.
Oh yeah. That's yeah. They were definitely still living in the shit. Oh no, yeah. I mean, hell yeah, even for $2,000. Oh yeah.
Homeless shit. Like they listen. That they pull them together. Whatever they doing. Whatever. Boom boom. So let's go. Because $2,000 a month to park an RV in a junkyard. That's what that looks like.
Right, but they, but again, they want to, they have to stay like, they're basically paying for privacy to be, to be able to do what they, to do what they.
Dollars and a thing, a piece for each RV. So that's bread. Like, wow. Okay.
The group abandoned the 345-ton tugboat in the harbor.
Shooter identified.
Fluids from the boat. It was chained to a 3,000-pound concrete block in 14 feet of water.
Exclusive
the boat started
breaking
sinking
news.
not long after this. The harbor district manager's estimate.
What you say?
Breaking news. Breaking news.
Right.
Exclusive. Shooter is identified as Chance Wickens of Ohio.
Chance Wickens. They found him?
No, just identified.
I'm gonna play this while I look it up. All right.
Go ahead.
I wonder, was he transgender?
It will cost $2 million to remove the vessel from the harbor. Jack started refining his belief system and transformed into an alleged cult leader using the name Ziz. His followers are referred to as Zizians. He appeared to be inspired by the rationalist scene at Berkeley. Jack started posting bizarre philosophical content on a blog. For example, he had this theory that the hemispheres of the brain can hold separate genders and values, which often desire to kill each other. He believed reaching.
Okay. I told you it was it's not just a regular being a transgender. This is like an ideology that he's come up with of a thought of transgenderism, not like that's a person. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They got a good deal on it. They paying to be off the grid. Okay. Hey, what's up, Scam Chan? But so you see what I'm saying? So it's the ideology of transgenderism, not so much of being a real transgender. Because like I said, everybody that's following him, they're not like actually living their lives trying to transition into the sex that they feel like they are. It's just the ideology of that of that we're both whatever what he's talking about the hemispheres of the brain and they want to kill each other or whatever.
Right.
And of course. So you hear that this is the ideology that they feel like each hemisphere of the brain that it wants to kill each other, like the female side and the male side. That is the ideology. Violence is involved. He sounds like he's got some. He's so smart. He's probably a genius. I also was told that they were also a neurodivergent, a little bit of ADHD, a little bit of autism and stuff like that mixed in. So yeah, let's go.
Peace between hemispheres was a tricky process of repeatedly reconstructing frames of game and decision theory. In 2018, Jack joined an apprenticeship program run by the Machine Intelligence Research Institute and the Center for Applied Rationality. Ultimately, he manipulated some of the members to join him as Zizians in his own offshoot of the rationalist movement. Now moving to the timeline of the crimes. On November 19, 2019, the Center for Applied Rationality hosted a retreat on a 200-acre property called the Westminster Woods Camp. This is 17 miles west of Santa Rosa, California. Jack and 3 of his followers, Wen Danielson, Alexander Leatham, and Emma Orhanian, arrived at the retreat. They blocked the exits and accused the group hosting the retreat of betraying them. The police were called and arrested Jack and his followers.
I just want y'all to take a look at this picture. This sounds like complete madness. Like these people seem like they might, I don't know. This is just the level of just being, I don't know. They look scary. I would not want to meet them in a dark room. I'm sorry.
They were charged with conspiracy, obstructing an officer, and wearing a mask for an unlawful purpose. The police said that the 4 alleged offenders would not speak coherently or cooperate. As the case moved through the legal system, the group had trouble finding attorneys because they only wanted vegans. On November 15, 2021, about 2 years after the incident, the 4 alleged offenders filed a federal lawsuit against Westminster Woods, the police, and others, making numerous claims. For example, they were allegedly mocked for being transgender, injured, and wrongfully arrested. Later, the lawsuit was dismissed when the plaintiffs...
So you see, so they're using transgenderism as a thing to create like problems within.
Right. Right. That's what I was saying. They're hiding behind the guise of, transgender and the third, and that's gonna garner up misinformation. People are gonna support, what I'm saying, people with transgender family members, people who are transitioning. They're gonna get automatic support until people start, reading through everything and seeing what they're really about.
But I don't think that they really are transgender. I think that they just have the ideology of transgenderism, and they're hiding behind that ideology to get to be able to sue people and to.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's the same thing I'm saying. I'm just saying they're hiding behind the guise of transgender. The ideology of being a transgender to say, oh, they're gonna garner up support. From certain, discriminatory laws and things like, you can't discriminate against them, or they're going to gain support or garner support from the LGBTQ plus community, or, some people that, that will empathize, if they have transgender family members or if they're transitioning themselves. What I'm saying? I totally believe it's pretty bogus. I just think they just doing that, just so they can have an excuse to do what they're doing. But it's giving meth, okay? I'm sorry.
It's definitely giving meth, like the skin, everything.
The skin and everything. It's giving meth. We gonna skip the transgender. It's giving.
Right.
Yeah. Come on. That's first.
This stuff is going on, and this thing is recent. This stuff is really. They just caught some of these people like last week. This is still like going on. Like their trial is coming up and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like this is not something that happened like a few years. This is happening now.
This is heard of them before. Till you introduced me to them, I've never heard of them at all.
Emma and Suri stabbed him with knives. Alexander used a samurai sword to stab Curtis in his chest. During the attack, Curtis lost an eye. Curtis managed to produce a firearm and shot Emma and Alexander. Emma did not survive. Alexander was wounded. Alexander and Suri were arrested and charged with attempted murder in connection with the attack on Curtis and murder in connection with Emma's death. The police are essentially saying that Alexander and Suri caused Emma's death. They attacked Curtis, and Curtis was defending himself when he killed Emma. At some point during or after the attack on Curtis, Jack was on the property. He was never charged with a crime, but he was taken to a police station. The police said that he faked a medical emergency and was taken to a hospital. Not even 2 months later, another serious crime would be connected to the Zizian cult. On January 2, 2023, a 72-year-old man named Richard Zacko.
You notice this all old people that this is happening to? There's something to this old people stuff that they're doing. They're attacking elderly people. Wait a minute. Wait, I didn't see. I think I skipped too far. But what in the world, bro? What is going on? I don't mean to laugh, but this is getting crazy here. Come on now.
22, New Year's Eve. While searching for their daughter Michelle in a hotel room near the Philadelphia International Airport, the police found Jack LaSota. He pretended that he was dead. Even in his mugshot, Jack kept up a charade. Officers had to hold him to take his picture. Jack was charged with obstruction and disorderly conduct, both misdemeanors. He was released on bail in June 2023. A warrant was issued for his arrest after he stopped showing up for court appearances. Now moving back to Curtis Lint. Again, he was the man who let the Zizians stay.
By the way, when they let him out, they haven't found him. So I don't know what the hell's going on with this cult, but yeah, there is. I mean, they have been killing people across the country. I mean, what do you think? Guys, pretend like he's dead. Nobody knows what the hell's going on.
On copycats. Are you PETA or?
Yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to bring that situation to light. Let's look into what is the name of the person that they found. Let's go into that. I wanted to at least show that so y'all can see like that type of stuff. What was it? Chance Wiggins?
It might not be correct though. It might not be correct.
I've been looking it up and it's like a bunch of fake profiles.
It might not be correct yet. But So let me backtrack that. But I can say from what I'm reading, they have more pictures of this man, of the shooter, closing in on him. They believe he's limping, and they're pursuing him.
Okay, all right. We'll find out when they find it. I want to go back into. So I went into the transgender cults. I want to go back into the glorification. Man, listen, you guys, listen.
Are you tearing up too?
Bro, I'm not tearing up. You know, I'm just
It's okay.
like,
It's okay to cry.
I'm not tearing up. I'm not. I'm just like, I'm just trying to tell you that when people come back from war,
Mm-hmm.
you never know what they have seen and what they've been through. Look at his eyes, bro.
Okay.
Look at
What
his
about
eyes.
the starve the kids across Europe?
No, I'm saying, look at his eyes. Look at his eyes. Like he has
What
seen
about
some of the
what
most
about the
horrible
sex across
things.
Europe?
Okay, it's not about what about nothing else. I'm talking about what he's seen. You know,
Yeah.
and he's up there crying. He can't hold it in. It's like, bro, we
He
have to
signed
like.
up for it. He signed up for it.
Right,
There's
but
plenty of
okay,
people.
but that's just
Plenty of people who have never signed up for none of that shit.
Right. Well, but you know, and he's also one of the most decorated snipers. Okay, that's what.
Exactly. But PTSD, trauma, it's not exclusive to them to being in military or combat. Debunking
I mean,
that
what
myth.
have you been through? PT? Have you? I mean, I'm not going to ask you that question because if you
You
did, you
can't.
probably.
You're already trying to, but I'm speaking out for the people in general.
Right, but see,
Most of the country.
Okay, like I don't
Most
get.
of this country. I'm gonna keep it 100.
Get, like,
I'm gonna keep it 100 for people who really understand out here, and PTSD has become the new ADHD. And I'm gonna say this one more very clearly: the military and PTSD. PTSD is not exclusive to the military. The population of people who are in the military is a minority factor in this country. Now, also, I want to say this: the majority of PTSD cases, they're non-military. And shout out to the people who truly understand that, and I hope they're getting the most help they can get. It's not exclusive to the military. But this is a grown man who's receiving a lot of the services, most of the best services. Very fortunate to receive those services, and he has a position of a responsibility and authority. I think he would even tell you that there's a lot of others, many others, who don't have his position and the accessibility to help.
I mean, I get it that you're like, okay, yeah, PTSD happens or whatever, but this is what people.
I'm not saying that. I'm not downplaying it either. I want to be
This
clear
is
on
what people are going through. And
I'm
they
not
come
downplaying PTSD for no one, but I'm not gonna tolerate the exclusivity. I'm not gonna tolerate the exclusivity of it's just people in the military.
I'm not saying I never said it was just them.
I want to always clear that up.
This is what this conversation is about. This is what the title is, right?
I know, but
we're talking about a sniper, right? We're talking about snipers, right? And their stories, right? We're talking about what happened to Charlie Kirk, and we're discussing snipers and what a sniper is, right? That's what I'm trying to get across to the audience. Not about PTSD and they ain't did shit. They ain't got this PTSD all over. But who gives a fuck about what he been through? He signed up for it. That's not what the conversation's about, sir. The conversation is that there is an entire community of people that have been in military combat. Now, that sniper was able to, with precision, explain what happened in that situation, right? Now, I have mainly been discussing like that a lot of snipers, I don't like the fact that they get glorified, because I think that when they come back into society, you're talking about some people that are real killers. They are real killers out here. A person tell you they were a sniper in the military, honey, you don't know what the hell they've seen.
For all intents and purposes, 1-800-950-6264. That text NAMI. That's for National Alliance on Mental Health, Mental Illness. For anyone who's struggling for this, I want to always be professional, but to tell you the truth, I was never downplaying PTSD, but it's not.
Please don't. This is not about what everybody else is going through. This is the specific show about this situation of people, military people, and like this is a triggering event, right? So you have snipers reviewing this.
Most people in the military don't come out with PTSD either.
But people what?
Yep. These are things that hey.
I
know this is a sovereign issue for people.
Have you been in the military, sir? Have you been in the military?
No, but I study behavior.
So how do you know what most people in the military come out with?
I work around behavior, and I'm going to be very clear. There are people who are in the knowing, and there are people who
why would you make a statement about something that you have you did the research? What based on what research study tells you that most
you can do all the research on it. This is not even an argument. It's just PTSD is not something.
No, here's the thing. Listen. I love you as a person. I love you as a person that comes on my channel and like challenges me, and I love that.
Fine.
However, you say a lot of statements, but then when I say, "Hey, where'd you get that information from?" It's like, no, you can look it up. No, sir.
I just told you I study behavior, and I'm
no, that's not. That is not evidence. That's not proof. That's not the no. You can't. No, like listen. I don't like people just making statements and say, "Well, I was around them." No, what based on what study most military people do not suffer PTSD. Exactly. Sir, basic training alone can give a person PTSD.
Okay.
What are you talking about? You're not.
I'm going to say this again.
Military, if you've never been in the military,
you've never been overdiagnosed with PTSD.
Listen. If you've never been in the military,
you don't have to be in the military to have PTSD.
Sir, I never said you had to. Never said you had to be in the military to have PTSD. See, when I say you made a statement, sir. The reason I don't want to mute you. I want you to allow you to speak. But at the same time, I don't want to argue with you. Okay.
It's not an argument. You don't hear me argue.
No, I don't want you to interrupt me when I'm okay. Say what you're gonna say, and I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. Please don't talk over me when I'm saying. Go ahead and say.
You go first.
Okay, so this is not a discussion on whether other people go through PTSD or not. It's never been a discussion on military versus the average human being. I never had that discussion. If I was going to have that discussion, I would make a whole thing about that. Does PTSD only happen in the military, or do average people? That's a discussion, okay? That's not the discussion we're having here. We're talking about what he is going through. We're talking about snipers. We're talking about people getting killed by somebody that they think is a sniper. I'm discussing this entire sniper world on top of now it got into the transgender aspect of it, because I'm trying to figure out is this another aspect of this transgender cult, or is this a cult, a group of people that just know how to shoot, or is this a sniper? Now you have one guy saying, well, I don't think it was a really professional sniper based on my understanding. Okay, right. But earlier, so let me just give you context of where I'm coming from, so you know that I'm not just talking at the side of my ass,
You're not. You have it touches your heart. It touches your heart so much that, hey, the military is a special world. I get that. Shout out to the men and women who are in the military.
It's not a competition
Thank you for protecting this country. Shout out to y'all. But it's well known that most people suffering from PTSD are not in the military.
Okay, that's not the subject, though. We're not talking about. What I'm talking about is sniper. They're calling this guy that he could be a sniper. He assassinated the person. Either he could be a sniper. We're trying to figure out, okay, first I tried to figure out, could this be a sniper? And if it was. So I want to go into my discussion I had earlier this morning where I really broke down my thought pattern on this whole thing. Because this is not about anything other than what I said here. So let's go. He was doing a speech in Utah, and they shot him in the head in front of everybody.
Oh my God.
Isn't that terrible?
Right.
But now people are like, okay, is this going to start a civil war?
A race war or something?
I don't know. That's the scary part. It wasn't a I don't know, was it a black person that shot him? I don't know. But I know that there's like this whole thing, Trump is gonna know. But I know that there's like this whole thing, Trump is gonna be pushing his family and helping his family out. Like, is he gonna become like the Martin Luther King of the white people now? Because he gave his speech and got assassinated. I'm trying to figure out if they're gonna memorialize this guy or not. It's sad, Shouts out to his family. I hope I'm not sure who did it. I'm still I think they're keeping that under wraps. Because if it was a black person, because I think that they have someone in custody. If it was a black person that did that, which I doubt, that's gonna be something. Okay. But I'm trying to figure out what kind of a sniper, because if they say it was 100 yards away, this person was at like 100 yards away. That's like from here to that tree down there.
Oh, man.
Or more. That's even more.
Well, that's better than the Trump assassinator.
That's even further than that. Hold on. 50. That's about 50 yards. Wait a minute. From here, 100 yards. Jesus Christ.
Dude, man, they hired someone from a movie or something.
That's like Jason Bourne. Well, how many? I don't know. I think it was really far. Like the shot the person was really far.
Right. Oh my God.
That's a professional hit. That's like FBI, like Navy SEAL, like, you know what I'm saying? This person had to be in the military. It's that dude. It's probably that dude, the ghost or whatever. That black dude. What is that guy that did that? That's been on all these channels. Oh my God, that's like that level of sniping going on, where it's a person that's hundreds of yards away. They be talking about how many kills they have. You know what? There's actually like pages that like really promote snipers. Okay, they sit up there and there's like this one sniper. I forget what his name is, and he gets on. He's like, what do they call him? There's a name for him. I forget. He's a sniper.
Hitman.
No, he is like a military sniper, and they give him they really promote him because he's like the most dangerous sniper. It's a black guy, light skinned dude, and he was in Desert Storm. There's like they have like channels where they're interviewing him as a sniper, because they don't just stop sniping after they're done with the military. Then they get hired by corporations when they're done sniping in the military, they go and get a job in different companies like Raytheon and other government contractors, and then do sniping for them. So they're like, so these are serial killers, bro. Like their job is to kill people. And they are interviewing this person on YouTube. This guy's a killer, bro. He's a murderer. Like they have people that are snipers that are getting interviewed, and they're just interviewing this guy. He's talking about killing people, okay? He's talking about how, and he's like, yeah, about 158 people. You know what I'm saying? What?
And sometimes it's the most sketchiest corporations that be hiring the people. Like one corporation is just an airline thing, and like the people that like talk the whatchamacallit people that you know like say that thing is like doing bad.
She's gonna say whistleblowers, whistleblowers.
Like, bad stuff because the company like practices like very bad stuff like
practices and stuff.
Yeah, very bad practices like quickening the cycle of making the airplane and stuff like that, which makes it dangerous.
Right.
It like doesn't put the safety gear in, whatever. They say that about them, and then they somehow end up dying. Like
well, honey, because they hire snipers.
Yeah,
there are literally government snipers that leave the military and then join. Then when they leave the military, they join these corporations, and then they get sent on assignment to kill people. And they get interviewed on YouTube. It's amazing to me. What is this guy's name? I think his name is the Ghost or the such. He's got like a really cool name. No, he's like they call him, and they're like, and they the way that they talk about killing people, it's like I got like 50 such and such. It's like it's like they have a name for it, like that pretty much. That takes the humanity out of it, and it's like, bro, do you guys know that you're interviewing an actual killer? Right. This guy is a serial killer. Like he is a serial killer. Like when he got done with the military killing people, he couldn't do nothing else. He had to go back and kill more people. He had been in like 5 different tours in Iraq, Desert Storm, the Blind Eagle, whatever the hell operation it was, he was a part of it. Then he leave all them operations, joins government contractors so he could go back out killing people.
Right, with all that
Lord
PTSD.
knows what he's doing now. Right, he's still PTSD, drinking, alcoholism. I mean, he's still married. I don't know how, but I'm like, bro, what? And he's interviewing. What is this guy's name? You'll see him. He has glasses. He's light skinned. And he literally does interviews talking about sniping people. And see, I think that if there was a person that's like a lone wolf that did this, I think that the normalization of showing videos on YouTube about sniping people is probably why. Why would they allow sniper videos on YouTube? That makes people like look up to these guys. And then, like I said, the way that the guy is talking about these people that he's offing, it's as if there's no connection to human humanity of it all, you know, because these people do not look at this. It's like, this is what the target is. This is my job. I got paid to do it, and you're done. If he get paid to kill you, it's over with. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna know where he's at. He's very stealth with it. It's gonna be real quick. It's gonna be over with, bro. He knows how to hide himself in a building somewhere and make that shit have foul, and then kill you and then be gone, not think twice. And to think that these people are getting interviewed on YouTube and on Joe Rogan. He was on Joe Rogan. If you ever see him, he's on Joe Rogan. He's on all these different. Rogan? Yeah. All right. Have a good day at school. Love you. Having fun at the Wiz. My daughter's going to see the Wiz. So now guys. You understand what I'm saying? Is that what my standpoint is? You can't win. Yeah, she's going to go see the Wiz. So I wanted to go with her, you know, but I have a doctor's appointment. Do you understand where I'm coming from now?
About what part?
The whole thing I said. It's like that one, You have a glorification of sniping and this whole like gunplay, right? And it would make it easy for a person that would be a lone person that might be watching this content to embrace it, like start becoming a sniper. I want to be like him. I want to be like this type of. Next thing you know, they're on top of a building shooting a person or whatever, and they're able to escape. And you never know where this. That's what I was really trying to get at. That's what I was trying to.
I want to point out, if you can. I think there's a little, misinterpretation of where I'm coming from. However, as in the past, Reverend Green comes with thorough information, and I will say this. Snipers, that term is every time when there's a mass shooting, the media will throw out words and overuse them with word semantics. You don't have to be in the military to become a sniper, but if you want to get the best career in sniping, join the military. And what I mean by that, and I've said this earlier, even with the professional movie, also called Leon, that is a movie, but there was a transference of that intimacy of the subculture from a sniper to someone who was a novice, and that was a child. The Reaper, as you're speaking on, he's done the same thing. He's transferred his information of sniper to his children before they're even in military.
Two other people.
I'm not finished.
Right, but he's on YouTube.
Back in 2002, there was a mass shooting in Washington, D.C., and there was a 17-year-old boy who had no military training at all, and he was doing all the shooting. His name was John Lee Malvo, and this was the D.C. sniper. There was two of them, but he was the one really doing the sniping, and he was doing it from the trunk of a car. See, I want people to really realize that being a killer, being an assassin, being a maniac, let's not get this confused with the U.S. military. The U.S. military is here to protect the United States and do a lot of the things that the security cleanup. So let's never compare these maniacs that we see doing what they're doing now with the U.S. military. And also, too, it's like when there are people who say, for instance, there's people who are sexual offenders, sexual assaulters, all right? And this has nothing to do with snipers. They have these excuses that they'll be like, sometimes they carry these excuses, be like, you know what, I was touched when I was a little kid. I'm going to clear this up. A lot of people who have been molested and sexually assaulted as children, they don't continue to do that as adults. I want people to realize that there's a misconception out here, and we got to clear this up and debunk a lot of this myth. No more excuses. If you want to learn how to do it yourself, build a house, there's things online. The people are learning real quick today. And that's just the way it is, man. I'm done. Yeah. There's killers everywhere. But there's a lot of safe places too.
Well, listen, I thank everybody for sticking with me. It's been 3 hours, guys. I didn't even realize time has gone by that fast. It's been 3 hours.
You want to invest in Raytheon Technologies, ticker symbol RTX. I want people to also make money. You hear these companies being thrown out, these names. Go invest in these companies.
Well, you got to make sure that they're actually profitable before you invest in them, because that could be a nightmare.
Do your due diligence. Do your due diligence. All right.
Well, I want to thank you guys for those that have tuned in up to this far, to this point. Shouts out to Reverend Green. Is there anything else that you would like to say to wrap everything up?
I'm not plugging too much other than I want Americans to be safe tonight, tomorrow. Practice vigilance, eat healthy, talk to a professional if you're having ideations, and stay alive. God bless.
Ashe. I wanted to say this is that, I just wanted to bring awareness, with this whole live. I hope I brought awareness to some information that people probably are not aware of. People are covering it different ways. Some people are focusing on how they feel about the situation. I really wanted to get into the logistics of it all, right? Sniper versus, like the glorification of that world, right? Because when you say sniper, then people type in sniper, then they get a bunch of sniper like content, and then they begin to watch it, and there's glorification on YouTube. I just have to really get down to that.
So before YouTube was really popping, and like I said, John Lee Malvo, he was a 17-year-old kid clapping people from a vehicle from far away. Now, do you think he had military experience? No. His partner, John Allen Muhammad, did. All right, and he trained John Lee Malvo. John Allen Muhammad got executed in 2022. However, John Lee Malvo, who was a teenager, he's still behind bars to this very day. Not saying that he should be freed at all, but what I'm saying is that this stuff can be transferred. The information can be Bluetooth. It's an intimate thing. But shout out to our U.S. military, and like I said, this person on the roof, we can't always get these people confused like they've been in the U.S. military or whatever like that. A sharpshooter's a
I never said he was in the military. I just said that.
I want to clear that up.
And you interrupted me when I was in the middle of my rant. You had your rant, and I want to get my rant on. Okay, can I get my rant going?
U.S. military.
Can I get my rant going? Okay, I wasn't done. So what I was saying is that when it really comes down to it, we glorify people that should not be glorified. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's not about whether they were in the military or not, or whether it's John Malvo or whoever. There's a whole YouTube rabbit hole you can go down about that. At what point? Because my thing is that now that people think that it's a assassin or a sniper or this, that, the other, they're going to go down this whole rabbit hole, and they're going to see other snipers discussing their kills. And what does that breed? It breeds like a person that begins to look up to this person. I want to be like that person, right? And I wanted to show this guy crying from PTSD, but I don't think people really understand where I'm getting at, right? I want to show that he is traumatized. But instead of me being able to do that, it's like, well, no, ain't no other trauma. No, bro. I'm trying to show people, bro, just because this person is able to talk about this stuff does not mean he's not traumatized by what he's been through. That he's been through. If you look at his eyes, you see that every person that he has off, they're on his back. Trust me. It don't matter that they was enemy, whatever. They're riding on him. Trust me.
Is he crying? Do you think because he's alive, and that he should have been? It should have been. Feels like it should be.
No.
What do you think he's crying from? Exactly. What trauma out of all the trauma?
Listen, if you're friends with a person, right, and just yesterday y'all were eating fucking grits together and joking and having a good time, and then y'all go into a wartime situation, and you see a fucking hole in the middle of his chest, and this person is breathing and you're trying to keep him alive, and then you see all this enemy fire coming in. So number one, it is like the shock of, am I going to die too? On top of that, it's your survival. It's all these things that kick in. And then you're looking at your friend that is dying. Everything is in slow motion. It's dramatic. It's not about because what he like, oh, I'm just glad I didn't die. It's like, bro, listen, I was in a car accident. That was traumatic. Why do we think that military soldiers can't go through trauma? Because they're trained not to. No, they're trained to be able to push that trauma down and to still maintain military bearing in that trauma. But at sometimes it could get triggered again, like when he was talking about that situation and it got triggered, and you could see how he was, his emotions, what he really felt in that time frame. He felt afraid. But he had to shove that down to get out of it and get home safely. He lost a friend. He saw his friend get his whole thing blew back. And that could happen on the streets of Chicago. It could happen in the streets of fucking Iraq. It could happen anywhere. I have to hold my child in my arms and let him die and watch him breathe for the last time. That was very traumatizing. I had to actually like allow them to take his breathing thing off and watch him gasp for air and hold him in my arms, and his whole intestines was out, and they had a sheet over his stomach. Like, that is traumatizing. It's not a matter of like, okay, well, well, there's other people that have gone through it. So fucking what, bro? Trauma is trauma. It's not like, oh, well, you've been through it. That so what? Everybody goes through it. No, just because everybody goes through it, it does not mean that this type of shit does not exist. Bottom line is that when you have people that are trauma victims that are doing shows and discussing things from a very clinical standpoint, it does not mean that because they're able to discuss it in a very concise way that they are not trauma victims. Even the guy that sat here and broke down the whole fucking the scenario, I can see that he's been through trauma. I can see it.
And you're aware. So what we're talking about,
you can't sit here and be so cold about, well, it just happened.
No, I was never being that, and that's why I've always said
it's no big deal. It happens everywhere, is what you said.
So what I'm also getting at is that there are different functioning levels when people have these mental health issues. There are people who have mental health issues, and there's different functioning levels.
And still function.
There are different functioning levels. People are able to function in different ways, even though that they have mental health issues. But if it's PTSD, people still have different functioning levels. It's not everybody's.
That's not the point of this conversation. The point was about the sniping situation. The fact that there's a whole community that is focused on this and reveres it, and then you have people that probably watch this end up revering these guys who are really just encased in trauma, and they're just able to surgically do and discuss certain things because that's what they do, and this is what their life has turned into. They're not fucking heroes, bro. These guys aren't heroes. But what they do is they turn them into a hero. And so now you have people that want to be like them. Next thing you know, you have a fucking person sitting on top of a building shooting somebody in the fucking chest, neck.
How easy do you think it is to pull a trigger? On a scale of 1 to 10.
I pulled it. It's very easy.
Okay. So a scale of 1 to 10, how 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. How easy?
Well, first of all, it depends on what kind of a rifle that you're holding.
I just asked a question on a scale of 1 to 10.
Okay, don't interrupt me. You asked me a question. I'm answering. Hey, I'm not going to answer the question the way you want me to. Okay? Depends on the rifle you're holding, because pulling the trigger could actually also equal you losing control of the rifle or a pistol or gun that you're holding. Okay? So easy to pull a trigger is very easy to pull a trigger depending on if you have control of that rifle or gun or weapon. Okay, it's very easy to pull it. It's just some guns have hair triggers. Some guns have you have to like actually brace yourself. Depends. Rifles, you have to brace yourself. It might hit against your chest a certain way. Got to brace it a certain way. Got to hold it a certain way to make sure that you don't get propelled back. You know, and the only thing that you're thinking about is the target. You're not thinking about the person behind that. If you're told to like shoot, you shoot. It doesn't even matter. In the military, there is no thought. It's like, dude, shoot. This is the target. Shoot that target. You don't even think about what it is. If they're
So on a scale of 1 to 10,
if they shoot at you, you're gonna shoot at them. There's no thought behind it. There's 1 to 10, 1.
exactly.
Depending
So
on
this person who did the shooting,
it's
he's
a
not
matter
that special. He's not that special.
finger and
He's not that special. The shooter who shot, he's not that special. He's not some Winter Soldier.
Honey, nobody said he was special.
That's why I said I always want to make sure. I'm trying to make sure.
I don't
at
need
the end
to
of the
do
day,
that.
people understand this guy is not immortal. This guy is not immortal.
Listen, I think I'm explaining that when I talk about the fact that all it is a matter of people that is being glorified. The militia, doing this, going into these different places and whatever. It's not really a matter of. It's easy to pull a trigger. That's why there's so many niggas in jail right now. It's easy.
Yeah,
Boom, done.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, he's gonna be caught. He's gonna be caught cowardly, and that's what I'm saying. Is like, at the end of the day, this hysteria that people are doing, like, oh man, like, you know, no.
Over here, we're not doing hysteria. We are surgically going through something that really and breaking things down. We're not going through
This person,
hysteria.
you're gonna find out he was not even in the military. None of that.
Never said he was.
We're gonna find out exactly. He was not even in the military. This guy was a clown.
Do you know that some of the
Old
biggest
clown.
snipers, children snipers, they're kids snipers, bro. In Vietnam, there was kids.
I've been trying to tell you. That's
So
what I
my
said from the beginning. This is not something.
It does not mean that they're not
You
snipers.
don't have to be in the
because they're
military
kids.
to be a sniper.
Okay,
You don't
so
have
what
to
I'm
be in the
saying-
military to be a sniper. I cleared that up.
You're missing. You are interrupting the point that I'm trying to make here. Is that there are glorifying sniping and being like this? What we just seen right here, where they're glorifying it. Do I need like to show you how they're glorifying it? How they're showing? How they're like telling this whole story?
Most people are not going to get up and you know what? I'm going to learn. I want to learn how to snipe. Most people aren't going to, most people aren't going to even say, hey, you know what? I want to go out there and take someone's life. Thank God.
It doesn't matter what most people did. It's enough people that somebody did that.
So do you agree with this? Reducing the bullet capacity of shooting, like restricting.
That's a mute subject. Why would we even talk about that? That's bullshit. Nobody's gonna.
Are you for that when it comes down to?
They're not gonna do it. I'm not gonna even have that discussion. They're not gonna do that.
Are you for it though?
I don't really.
Not gun bans, but restriction
for
on-
them reducing no.
Okay.
Reducing the bullet for what? Like they're gonna do it anyway. If we find out how to reduce it, they're gonna find out how to like take whatever that reduction off and make a stronger weapon. Like, are we kidding me? What are we talking about here? You just want to have a okay.
I want to have a thorough conversation. So at the end of the day, I think he means to shoot someone. Exactly, man. There's people who know, but at the end of the day, I want people to understand this person was a genetic coward. They had coward genes, and this Charlie Kirk is not Martin Luther King.
No
But
one
there's
thinks
going
he is.
there's going to be
We've never had no discussion over here.
There's going to be an incentive to keep on trying to push that goalpost as if he was, and Charlie Kirk was not, he was targeted because of the things he said. He was speaking of violence, and he also did not preach peace. He was poking fun at a particular demographic time and time again. And he didn't think it could happen right there he got complacent. There's someone who was tracking him, someone who he was overlooking, someone that even his so-called superior security were overlooking. They weren't that competent. And we're going to have more discussions on this if people in the United States aren't going to get serious about what's really going on here. It's not a gun issue. I support that. There is a radicalization, and I'm not going to even just say a mental health issue. There's this evil out there. Dark energy. And Charlie Kirk was egging it on time and time again. And I want to be clear too, it's like, this is not some international thing. We're going to find out that this is some punk from the cornfields. Just like that, some super mediocre punk from the cornfields. It's not some, they did this with Tupac, you know, like, oh yeah, it's this agency, is that? No, it's just some beef, some ordinary beef. And so when it comes down to this Charlie Kirk thing, you'll find out it's just an ordinary super mediocre punk from the cornfields got to him. But people are trying to blow it up. Oh, it was this, is that. No, it doesn't take that much energy to do what this person did. What's his name made himself so accessible. Just like these rappers, they moving like rappers. These politicians are these political speakers. They're moving like rappers. They're even talking like rappers. And there has to be a level of maturity. Oh, we can have this type of discussion. For real? Are you sure about that? With who? With a college campus of people who haven't even lived their life. They still think they're invincible. You really want to keep on poking fun of these people? We're gonna have to learn something from this. There's something to learn from this. This is how it could be prevented. This could have been prevented.
Well, that's partially why I brought up the whole aspect of like how like sniping and things like that, and like this whole militarization thing was being promoted on different social medias. That's the reason why I brought that up. That's the point where I was trying to make. But I mean, I get it. You know, it's also a matter of like the things that he was saying that kind of brought it on to him, but also the normalization. You understand the normalization of things like, listen to this.
This is where you became the Reaper.
Yeah, we were going to a place called Kandahar, Afghanistan. And our mission was to kill everybody, like destroy it. And I was on a rooftop. I had no idea at the time I was on top of a mosque. I just knew that the roof was different. And I saw this guy in a blue man jammy dress fleeing from underneath me. And he was running towards our blocking position point, doing the whole suicide deal. Our guys in the tree line were shooting at him, popped off some 203 round to try to deter him.
I mean, I'm not even gonna get more into that, but just understand that there's a whole like sector that this is what they're talking about, and it's just like they popped it off. They did this, we did done it under the tree line, and they're talking about it very surgically. They're not talking about like they're talking about like killing a person.
Have you read these manifestos from these people?
No, hold on.
Man, I'm talking about like, have you read these manifestos from these nut jobs? They sound like they're surgical too. Let's stop this.
What are you missing about what I'm saying? What are you missing about what I'm telling you? Is that like, bro, this type of content is what they ingest.
Doubtful.
They're not getting their surgicality from nothing. They're not just waking up and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do this." They're watching shit.
So all the people I named just before, you're saying that they got their
is an argument?
Yeah, they didn't learn all this stuff from the military.
You have to say, I'm not. Listen, you don't have to be in the.
They're not learning it from YouTube.
Oh, they're not. They're not like on like.
No. Oh, yeah. The heavy metal, the rap music making people. Heavy metal's making people kill. The rap music making people kill. The movies is making people kill. The video games is making. No, these are excuses.
Listen, you're saying, because you're interrupting me while I'm talking. You're saying that these people are getting these ideas just purely off of their own thought. They're not actually ingesting content that is encouraging them to do this. That's it. They're just like, they just make a decision. They're not watching Charlie Kirk. How would he even know who the fuck Charlie Kirk is if he's not watching Charlie Kirk on YouTube? Where else do you see Charlie Kirk? Is he not on? He's not like what? Where would you even know who Charlie Kirk the fuck was? Unless you're on social fucking media. Combine that also with this type of content. Like, I don't get what where the disconnect in your mind is, that you would say that he would know who Charlie Kirk is enough to pack up and shoot him, but not know who a fucking sniper is, but then he's sniping somebody or assassinating somebody, and not like, okay, well, you think that, okay, he only just knows who Charlie. You don't see like that there's a connection between the content. It's, oh, maybe he just learned it at the militia. Like, he went to a militia meeting, that was it. He just went to a militia meeting. They had like a few gun things
one
side in the woods.
This coward,
and it was only about
took out one target.
Only that.
This coward took out one target, not multiple people.
You don't know how many targets. You don't know who it even is.
Again,
you don't know who he is, bro. No. There's no again. You don't know who he is until you know who he is and what his record is. You can't tell me who he is and what he done did.
He took out Charlie Kirk.
That's all you know about who he took out, but you don't know who he is.
He took out Charlie Kirk.
As far as you don't know who else he done took out. You don't know if he's military or not. You don't know if he's military. You don't know anything other than the fact that he took
have
out
these ideations and they're ready to kill more than one person.
Okay.
It's called identity extremist.
Honey, that's what they called Raheem Balagoon. That identity extremist actually started within the black people. It was called Black Identity Extremists. That came from the fucking
and there's white identity extremists too.
No, but they started off with the black. Then Raheem was the first person to get arrested for it.
That's the one who got blown up with the robo dog, right? Or whatever.
That guy was named Malik. But he was going to the events that Raheem was doing. Man, there's a whole thing. It's too much to unpack.
Yeah, these people are just like the incels. They're identity extremists.
Listen, if you watch my other interviews that I've discussions I've done recently, I actually go into my whole entire background with Gorilla Mainframe, with Sarah Sutanseti. I break down the whole thing with the Black Identity Extremists. I didn't have the exact name that it was called, but I found out later that's what it was. See, the thing is that I don't really understand, why does it feel like every time I make a point, you're trying to like
being an identity extremist has nothing to really do with race.
The first black identity. Listen,
the first. So there wasn't other identity extremists before this person. Just because they named it like that. Yeah.
Okay. In July 23rd, 2019, okay, there was a thing where it says FBI targets a new generation of Black activists, and it was called Black identity extremists. Okay, so that was the first time you ever heard of Black identity extremists. Okay, now if they came up with a white identity extremist now, that's new. The first identity extremist, excuse me. Before that, it was either you're a terrorist or whatever, white supremacist. They needed to like create like a label for Black people that had like very extreme views, and they came out with Black identity extremists in 2019. Okay, and that was by a U.S. George,
Again,
the FBI, bro.
Again, you don't have to.
There's no
Again, I'm gonna say this because you're upset.
No, I'm not upset. It's just irritating.
All right, thank you.
Every time I make a statement, you're trying to one up beyond what I know, and I'm
I'm
like,
not
bro,
running up on
no, it's
you.
like
It's just
you're
what it
trying
is.
to. Every time I say something, you gotta say something in return, and so I'm trying to like end the show.
Exactly.
Bro.
Exactly.
I'm trying to, like, to close out
Identity
the
extremists.
It's not a fucking a pussy and dick measuring contest, bro.
You don't have balls, right? You don't have a
Right.
dick.
So my thing is that I have a pussy and I have a clitoris, and you're trying to have a fucking mind like competition. I'm not, bro. I'm not trying
There's
to.
no competition. You feel
I'm
like
not
that.
trying to compete with you on knowledge and information. I am
I know
doing
you
a show
can't.
about one thing, and every time I make a statement about something, you are trying to make it about something other than what I'm talking about. And so when I try to close things out and try to round things up, I gave you a chance to like give your closing statement. And then when I'm giving mine, you interrupt me and we're still going. Do you see what do you understand what I'm saying? Now
Identity extremists have been around way before the label of Black identity extremist. You don't have to be an identity extremist. See, not all white supremacists are identity extremists. Not all militants are what if they're the Black Panther Party, anything, are identity extremists. Identity extremists is a different type of league. I hope you understand that. See, you have incels that believe in white supremacy and things like that. However, these are identity extremists. They kill anything. They kill anything. Meaning,
hold on. Let me just, because I don't like the fucking, the term identity extremist was primarily introduced by the FBI in an August 2017 intelligence assessment where it created the category of Black identity extremists, BIE. The FBI dropped the label in 2019 after widespread criticism. Please stop playing with me, bro. I know what I'm talking about.
again, so the term identity extremist came on with.
No, it came in 2017.
It came way before.
Okay, well, show
way
me where
before that.
Everything you'll say this, but you don't show me.
Read what you just read. Read what you just read. Read it out loud carefully.
No, but it was based on the term was
identity extremist became. It was always around.
Where it created the category. Listen,
I don't care what the FBI. Identity extremist been around way before that.
Okay, well, show me where. Show me some evidence, bro. Show me.
You're going on the line. You're angry. I'm not.
No, I'm not angry.
You're reading it right there. You're reading it right there, but you're not reading it slow enough. You're emotional. Take your time.
Man,
identity extremists have been around way before.
Listen. It says the term identity extremist was primarily introduced by the FBI in an August 2017 intelligence assessment where it created the category of Black identity extremists, BIE. Okay, it then dropped the label in 2019 after widespread criticism that the term was baseless and politically motivated designation. Okay, so
exactly. So it went back to what? Identity extremist. Man, extremists have been around way before the 2000s. We gotta cut that bullshit out.
No,
Way
bro.
before the 2000s.
What the fuck are you talking? I'm sorry, I'm cursing, but I'm like,
It's
bro,
just like it's like
you're
so. It's like
you're just arguing with me for the sake of arguing, bro.
No, I'm just keeping it 100.
I'm
Extremists,
not keeping it
identity
100. You
extremists,
are
they've been
arguing.
around.
No, I'm not saying
They've been around way before the 20th,
there's a
before the
thing
20th,
called an
21st century.
there's a thing called an extremist, right? Okay.
Identity extremists have been around way before the 21st century. Cut it out.
When something is primarily.
I don't care what primarily. It's been around.
You know what's crazy is when a person is shown like how something came on from the FBI, and you're still arguing with me because you want to be right. Now, there's a such thing as an extremist. Okay, that has always existed. Extremist. But the term, quote unquote, identity extremist. So there was extremists. There was like Nazi extremists. There's all type of extremists that was already existed before there was an identity extremist. The term identity extremist was a thing focused primarily on Black people that were extremists because they had to put a name on it to be able to arrest it. And that's what happened is when they put this name together, they were able to arrest Rakeem Balagoon. He was the first Black identity extremist. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here, bro? He was the first one. And he's from Dallas. I know him personally. So why are you? I don't want to fucking argue with you about.
There's been identity extremists way before him.
No, they're not called. They're just called extremists, honey.
I don't care what they're calling. They don't care what these identity extremists don't care.
You're saying that okay. Now, even though the term was coined, that
exactly.
Like I would say hypothetically that they were identity extremists, even though there was no word to coin the word identity extremist, that they were identity extremists. Okay, so all right, that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying, no, I don't know this because I'm talking about what the actual what's going on in society when they actually coin it in the government and say that these are Black identity extremists. And that was the first time it became a law and the FBI was able to arrest people. There was never an identity extremist before 2017.
Bullshit.
There were extremists.
Bullshit.
Man, listen. I'm fixing to end this live because I'm not going to get my blood pressure up. We've been going back and forth. Reverend Green, you get on my nerves. But you know, I still love you, child. You know, but I just know that we just have separate fucking understandings of things. You know, listen, I agree to disagree. Shouts out, but I'm not gonna keep doing this because I ain't gonna get my we're almost on the 4 hours, child. And we're arguing about a word
I'm not arguing.
Yeah, you're not arguing. Yeah, bullshit. You're not arguing. Bullshit. You're not arguing. It seems
definitely not arguing.
You have your own definition of words, and I'm not gonna fucking play semantics with you. Okay, fine. You win.
The term identity extremist was primarily introduced. What does that mean? God damn it!
What do you mean?
Read that again. The term identity extremist was primarily introduced. Read that again, god damn it. Word semantics, motherfucker. Read that again. Cut this bullshit out.
Okay.
It's been around way before the 21st century.
When something is primarily done, that means it initiated, right? Primary, like a primary source. It means the first time, right? Primarily, right? Introduced. That means that it is being brought.
It does not mean.
It primarily introduced means that it was for the first time brought up. by the FBI in an August 2017 intelligence assessment, where it created the category of Black identity extremism. Okay, so the whole objective of the identity extremist thing was to create a category of Black identity extremists, because we already had a word for white extremists. They were called extremists. There was no identity extremists out before that.
Yes, there was.
They were just called extremists. They were called fucking white what is it called? Goddamn there was terrorists, and then you had extremists. But then they created the word identity extremists, and those were for Black identity extremists. That's when it came out in that time by the FBI. And that is when they were able to drop that label on people and then arrest them based on that label. So the whole objective of them creating the label of identity extremists was to find a way to arrest Black people that were talking and start talking about certain or even investigate people that were talking about certain ideals through that time frame of 2017 to 2019. After widespread criticism, then the term was a basis to that. So I don't understand origin and use by the FBI, bro. Like, what are you talking about?
That
sir?
does not say origin. It says introduction. There is no. That's not the origin of identity extremist. You're making up shit.
Origin and use by the FBI. Okay, because you're all right. So there was an intelligence assessment in 2017. Okay. The term first appeared in an FBI counterterrorism report in 2017, which was sent to thousands of American police departments. It claimed that Black people involved in separate attacks on police officers were motivated by a shared ideology based on their perceptions of police brutality. Okay? The fuck are you talking about? I know what the fuck I'm talking. Public leak. The use of the term was revealed to the public when the magazine Foreign Policy leaked in the FBI report in 2017. The whole thing of that word of identity extremist was to target African American groups that they felt had a shared ideology based on police brutality and government, this, that, the other. Like, stop it. Listen. Widespread criticism. The label faced immediately backlash from civil rights group, legal experts, and former government officials who argued that no such movement existed. Critics accused the FBI of inventing the term to create a false equivalency between non-existent threat of BIE and the rising problem of white supremacist violence. Okay? Discontinuation after 2019.
Disconnect. Yeah, you're talking about all you're talking about right now. I'm babbling about.
Use the term.
You're Black. You're babbling about Black identity extremists. Identity extremists have been around way before.
No.
You're babbling and you see it too.
No, it's not babbling, bro. Are you kidding me? You can't read this and know.
Yeah, I've read it clearly.
No, what don't you see? What are you just arguing for the fucking sake of just arguing?
You're the one who's swearing and cussing. That's not me. You need to understand.
I don't give a shit about if I'm cussing, bro.
Yeah. So why are you upset? Like trying to blame people?
I'm not upset because you're fucking like, listen.
This is the end of the extreme has been around way before. You need to cut this nigga shit out.
That was not the fucking word, bro. That was not the word.
Let me tell you dumb nigga shit right
I'm not gonna fucking keep arguing with you, man. Shut the fuck up.
I am blessed to make money, money making money, money making money, money making money, money making money, manifest making money, money making money. Money making money, money making money. I ain't stressed. Making money, money making money, money making money, money making money. Gratitude is my attitude. I'm making